to say to you. Yeah, I got a lot to say. I notice your eyes are always glued to me, keeping them here, and it makes no sense. Just the one, two. I was just counting on that never happened. I guess I'm dreaming again. Let's be more than this. Rock and roll, baby, don't you know that we're all alone now? I need something to sing about. Rock and roll, hey, don't you know, baby, we're all alone now. I need something to sing about. If you wanna play it like a game, well, come on, let's play. 'Cause I'd rather waste my life pretending than have to forget you for one whole minute. They taped over your mouth, scribbled out the truth with their lies, you little spies. They taped over your mouth, scribbled out the truth with their lies, you little spies. Crush, 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 crush. Nothing compares to a quiet evening alone. Just the one, two. I was just counting on that never happened. I guess I'm dreaming again. Let's be more than this now. Rock and roll, hey, don't you know, baby, we're all alone now. I need something to sing about. Rock and roll, hey, don't you know, baby, we're all alone now. I need something to sing about. Rock and roll, hey, don't you know, baby, we're all alone now. Give me something to sing about. Nothing compares to a quiet evening alone. Just the one, two. I was just counting on that never happened. I guess I'm dreaming again. Let's be more than no. Nothing compares to a quiet evening alone. Just the one, two. I was just counting on that never happened. I guess I'm dreaming again. Let's be more than this.
all day, need a change bladder. She just happy that the crew back in town. something much louder. She asked me if I do this every day. I said often. That's how many times she rode the wave. Not so often. It's down to do it either way. Often, baby, I can make that rain. Often, girl, I do this often. Make that pop, do it how I want. Often, girl, I do this often. Make that pop, do it how I want. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah, na na na, na na na. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah, na na na, na na na. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah, na na na. She asked me if I do this every day. I said often. So many times she rode the wave, not so often. It's down to do it either way. Often, baby, I can make that rain. Often, girl, I do this often. Make that pop, do it how I want. Often, girl, I do this often. Make that pop, do it how I want.
silent grace, allow me to lace these lyrical douches in your bushes. Who rock grooves and make moves with all the mommies. The back of the club, sipping Moet is where you find me. The back of the club, macking holes, my crew's behind me. Mad question asking, blunt passing, music blasting. But I just can't quit because one of these honeys Biggie got to creep with, sleep with, keep the ep a secret. Why not? Why blow up my spot? Cause we both got hot. Now check it. I got more Mac than Craig and in the bed. Believe me, sweetie, I got enough to feed the needy. No need to be greedy. I got mad friends with Benzes. See notes by the layers. True fucking players. Jump in the Rover and come over. Tell your friends jump in the GS3. I got the chronic by the tree. I love it when you call me Big Papa.
Throw your hands in the air if you's a fucking player. To all the honeys getting monies, playing fellas like dummies. You got a gun up in your waist, please don't shoot up the place. Cause I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby, baby.
Straight up, honey, really, I'm asking. Most of these niggas think they be macking, but they be acting. Who they attracting with that line? What's your name? What's your sign? Soon as he buy that wine, I just creep up from behind and ask you what your interests are. Who you be with? Things to make you smile. What numbers to dial? You gon' be here for a while. I'm gon' call my crew. You gon' call your crew. We can rendezvous at the bar around 2. Plans to leave. Throw the keys to Little C's. Pull the truck up front and roll up the next blunt so we can steam on the way to the telly. Go fill my belly. A T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape. Conversate for a few, cause in a few we gon' do what we came to do. Ain't that right, boo? Forget the telly, we just go to the crib and watch a movie in the jacuzzi. Smoke L's while you do me. I love it when you call me Big Papa.
Throw your hands in the air if you's a fucking player. To all the honeys getting monies, playing fellas like dummies. You got a gun up in your waist, please don't shoot up the place. Cause I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby, baby.
Imagining Benzes giving ends to my friends and it feels stupendous. Tremendous cream, fuck $1 and a dream. Still tote gat strapped with infrared beams. Chopping O's, smoking line optimals, money holes and clothes, all a nigga knows. A foolish pleasure, whatever. I had to find the buried treasure, so grams I had to measure. However, living better now, coochie sweater now. Drop top BMs, I'm the man, girlfriend.
Honey, check. Tell your friends to get with my friends, and we could be friends. We could be Facebook friends. I'ma like your status. Shit. We just sit back in a hot tub, pop some of that Corbells, give each other foot massages. I mean, I'm not in the feet, unless you are. Are you in the feet? How they look? Okay. Because the only corn that I like is on the cob, baby. How about your lip gloss? Throw your hands in the air if you's a fucking player. To all the honeys getting money, playing.
I'm sure everyone has heard very little about, especially if they're watching this stream. But I'm not the only host. I would like to introduce 2 of our co-hosts. So I'm going to start with the funnier name, which is Snack Mom. And 4, 6, 10, 7, and 11 did not have any opponents for, I believe, incumbents in all of these cases. But there's a couple of these races that are kind of interesting if we want to get into any of them. Guys, have you followed any of these races?
On Missouri, naturally, especially looking at some of the amendments that we are going to get to in just a bit.
But from my understanding, 4 and 5 are the really important ones.
Yes,
And
those are no.
for a no vote. Vote?
Yes, both of those are. Or St. Louis site here. Thank you to Tom for this. We have Amendment 4 would permanently weaken Missouri's citizen initiative petition process and allow one congressional district to overrule the entire state. So basically what that means is with the citizen initiatives, if any of our districts was below 50% or below 51% of the vote, that's a no for the entire state. So that's bad, right? And then for Amendment 5, this one is Kehoe's signature tax plan, a classic bait and switch. It dangles before voters the shiny phase out of income taxes. But if voters take the bait, they'll find that they've swallowed unlimited new sales tax and use taxes that they'll never get to vote on. So in this, they would lose, or we would lose, 3 popular tax protection laws that were voted on. So Amendment 5 seeks to phase out Missouri's individual income tax over 5 years by granting the General Assembly power to raise sales and use taxes without a statewide vote. It may sound simple, but the process for getting Amendment 5 on the ballot has been marked by deception. Courts have repeatedly rewritten ballot summaries that failed to inform voters clearly about the loss of voter control over tax hikes. In its ruling, a state appeals court said the ballot summary must emphasize that a broader sales tax is the main mechanism that would allow elimination of personal income tax. And then in that ruling, it is not fair and sufficient to repeatedly suggest to voters that various tax obligations will be reduced and eliminated without informing them at any point or in any manner of the expansive authority that will be granted regarding sales and use taxes. There's been a lot of information going on about these. I've seen a lot of signs. So I'm really hoping for a strong, emphatic no vote on both Amendment 4 and Amendment 5.
Yeah. From my understanding, no, here, please go.
Of Amendment 4, because if one county is saying, oh, we're going to vote no on this, and then the rest of the counties are saying, oh, we're going to vote yes on this, is this weird constitutionally speaking to have one district determine the outcome of an entire state in a decision like that?
When it comes to a ballot initiative being unconstitutional, well, the only way that it would be unconstitutional in a federal, usually these are amendments. So when we're talking most states, I don't want to speak to Missouri specifically, most of these states are going to be creating changes to the Constitution as decided by their voters. That's how it works in California. We got this big like Prop 40 fight coming up for a 1-year wealth tax. And from my understanding, I'm not sure that's a constitutional change, but like it's a constitutional process that would be sort of like a 1-year amendment. I will fact check myself on that. But until I get to the point, it can't be unconstitutional unless it violates the Equal Protection Clause. Sorry. Unless it violates the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which basically requires that the rest of the Constitution applies to the actions of the states. So, for example, Virginia can no more restrict your freedom of speech, supposedly, than the federal government can. Again, supposedly. So, in these cases, I don't think any of this would go against some sort of federal protection or federal supremacy of laws that would somehow cancel this out. Now, if they try to pass an amendment saying that we will not pay income tax and that you will not pay federal income tax, that would not fly. That would go horribly, horribly wrong, at least with a sane Supreme Court, which obviously we don't have, but I don't think the Roberts Court is that insane to be anti-income tax specifically. So, broadly speaking, I don't think that this could be challenged unless it was somehow unconstitutional to a different part of the state constitution, which is rare, and normally this would be an amendment, so like it would be amending the Constitution. You can't, like, if I create a new amendment that cancels the First Amendment, you can't like say that's unconstitutional, like, because that's the Constitution now. So unless it violated some sort of federal equal protection clause or something of that nature, it shouldn't really be a problem.
Makes sense. It's still a terrible idea, but it makes sense. While we're
can be amendments, but aren't necessary. They can be amendments, but they're not necessarily. I was fact checking myself. Are these? Yeah, these are ballot measures. Oh, nope. These are state constitutional.
These are amendments.
Yes. At least in one of these cases. Yep. This is, there's no way to challenge this unless it violates a federal law. Or like you could challenge the results of the election. However, votes have come in. Not going great for yes. At least an amendment, at least for at least for Amendment 4.
Your internet is faster than mine.
We have 360 total votes for yes and 1,344 votes for no, all in Lincoln County. Which, if this holds, too early to call, but if this holds at all, then that's going to be point set match for Amendment 4. Michigan primary rate polls haven't closed yet, but we do have some results coming in because there are still in Michigan, it's in 2 time zones, so it ends 8 p.m. local time. So everything that's in Eastern time is already done, but everything in Central time is still going to happen. Now, this, I think, includes a couple congressional districts, so some races that could be called within the first hour won't be called until the second hour because that will be the first hour. In those cases, that won't change the results too much, probably. The reason why some of these races are going to take so long is because of large states, not because of the 2 time zones. But let me see if we have. And Abdul's leading with 55% of the vote over Haley Stevens, who has 39.1. There's an open question: will she get above 40% of the vote? Which a couple of weeks ago they were neck and neck, but now it's like too many people saw Israel in their dreams, and it kind of became a bit of a problem. So now she's down below 40. Mallory McMorrow has 5.7% of the vote, despite dropping out, I think, over a month ago now. Which is my favorite fact about this, that she's at 5.7%. And that's Wexford, that's Kent, and that's Wayne, which is not enough to be able to make a conclusion, but that's not nothing. That's a lot of people, especially that's a lot of people in Kent already counted. Good job, Kent. Let me see if the House races, how are we doing? Oh, some of the Michigan House races have already been called, although all of them seem to be called all the ones that are called are ones that are not contested, including Hillary Schulten, who is going to be a target of the left in 2028. If you say you're not going to endorse a nominee because they're anti-American and their policy positions are identical to Elizabeth Warren's. And the only difference between her and him is that she's a white woman and he's an Arabic man, and you're fine with Elizabeth Warren, then you're just a racist. Like that's what this is. So Hillary Schulten is going to, although I might be pronouncing her name wrong, I think I saw that a lot of people have been pronouncing her name wrong lately, in which case I apologize. I don't want to offend you, but I am saying that you are not going to be keeping your seat in 2029, okay? You will be sent out along with a bunch of people on the right wing in 2029. And I believe we actually have our first guest, which is perfect because the results in his state are just starting to come in. Hey, how you doing? Doing all right.
So as an introduction, if you just, which direction am I going? If you look here behind me, our first guest is none other than Tommy Holstein. So Tommy, how is the energy at the watch party tonight?
Ran a campaign before. We had no idea what it would be like. And so I think everybody is feeling that, excitement, anxiety. We just have no idea what the next couple hours are going to look like, but we're excited to find out.
Very much. And I have to say, go ahead.
No, you go. But I'm realizing we need to introduce him to our audience because not all of them are poll watching.
Yes.
Some of us are.
Tommy is running for Congress in Missouri's District 3, which happens to be where I moved. So I've had the opportunity to meet Tommy and the team and volunteers and just observe him as he's in the community meeting with people. And I really like the guy. Tommy, I really like you. You
like
have
you too.
an incredible team. Thank you. I do want to say, this has been, if you've seen some of our promos, we've had this. You have,
Brooke, come here.
Yes, you have an absolutely incredibly talented team working with you. Make good choices, y'all. I mean, I'm going to have this forever. It's just a fantastic reminder, not just with voting, but just in general, make good choices. But we love the ballot box. Make good choices. It's wonderful, and I'm so impressed with all of the talent and just with the good energy that I've observed.
Thank you. I have to specifically shout out Brooke Stokel-Clark, who has designed that bag specifically. Well, most of our designs and stuff she has taken the wheel on. So she's absolutely to thank there. I wish she came and saw you holding that up. Well, I'll show her.
Seems like we're having some technical difficulties. Give us a second. Apologies.
Yeah, take your time.
Let me see what it looks like on. Okay, wait. So can they? Are we good, Keith? Yeah, tech team.
Did you ask if I could hear you? If you did, then the answer is yes.
No.
Okay.
I'm just checking on someone's end because we have people in the stream as well who are listening. Obviously, we can't listen to ourselves, or else you get one of those wraparound effects that, would be bad. Anyways, assuming this is all good, just give us a second. I want to make sure we confirm. And yes, we do. All right. So I believe we had some technical difficulties, and if you're one of the lucky people who did not have any technical difficulties and looking at me like I'm insane, then I do sincerely apologize. But for those who are having some difficulty figuring out what was going on, hi, I'm Hunter, 5051's National Press Coordinator. I'm your snack mom and Hieramius, who are our hosts for tonight. And we are here with Tommy Holstein, who is running for Congress in Missouri's 3rd District. Now, Tommy is a 5051 rising star. 5051 National does not endorse, or at least currently doesn't, but we do have a candidate support program. And Tommy is one of 6 active candidates who are part of that program. We've had less than 10 across the lifetime. for people who don't know, 5051 is literally like a year and 3 months old, which means there's 16 more years until we're too old for Trump. But until we get to that point, we hopefully we won't have to be around for that long, and that we're able to make the changes we need to make. There's a lot of changes, and supporting candidates is one way, not the main way. That's protesting, organizing, community outreach, but it is one of the ways that we can help build power for the People First movement. And Tommy was one of our choices. At least he is actually our only rising star in Missouri right now. Yeah, we do have some results from Missouri, but last I checked, they hadn't called it yet. Yeah, we have Missouri District 3 is 0.6% in yet. So Bethany Mann is leading over you, Holstein. You are ahead of Wilson, but there is literally less than 500 votes in, so that doesn't really mean anything at this time.
Right.
So there's just Hieronymus did flag that. Regardless, how was the energy like canvassing on the final day, or like what did your last day on the trail look like?
So I planned this horribly. I'm actually going out of town tomorrow for a week-long trip. I'll be filming a conference in Phoenix. And so I'm gonna get up and go to the airport at 6 a.m. So my day looked like a lot of packing and trying to answer as many texts and messages as I could. I had wanted to be at polls and stuff, and I, had to pack suitcases and get everything in order to leave town for a week. Should this go our way, this is a very inconvenient time to be skipping town, but that's okay. The energy in the past couple of days, though, has been insane. I mean, we got several endorsements, including the 5051 Rising Star, which I guess is not an endorsement, but
it's a
loose endorsement.
It is to the endorsement what I can't believe it's not butter is to butter. Okay, like it's not, but like I understand why people get confused, and it is now personal endorsements are a different thing. Like 5051 National does not endorse local chapters and state chapters can if they want to, and some do. Like Orlando or 5051 Minnesota probably is the most dedicated electoral arm, which might have something to do with their they went through what they went through in January. So they are very, very invested into making sure that their representatives represent them fairly instead of doing nothing and sitting there idly with their hands while more people get murdered on the streets. So I understand why I understand where they're coming from on that front. And some other chapters do. I think Arizona does. Actually, I think maybe more than one Arizona chapter. Point being, there's a number of chapters. But other of them, what they do is they'll work with candidates, but they won't endorse. And that's
right.
And then some of them don't support at all, but they will do things like canvass, or they'll let them speak at a rally, where some will openly support. And that's kind of where that's sort of like the media. And so that's where we're at as a national movement. But what matters more when we're talking about this, and also Tommy's one of our 3 rising stars on today. The other 2 are Brent Henrich in Washington District 3. He is running against Mary Gluesenkamp Perez, sending the primary her. Given that Marie Gluesenkamp Perez is better known as MGP, is one of the 7 Democrats who voted to fund ICE in January of 2026 after Renee Nicole Good was murdered, even though she voted to thank ICE during the LA occupation. Someone who was tear gassed during that occupation thanks MGP. In addition, voted to let ICE strip search minors with the Kayla Hamilton Act. Thankfully, that act has not passed the Senate last I checked. And finally, was voting in favor of the SAVE Act and also the the U.S.-Israeli defense merger. I don't even know how to properly refer to that, but she sucks. And Brent Henrich doesn't suck, so hopefully Brent beats her. And then on top of that, we're also supporting our 3rd rising star today is Will Lawrence, who is running in District 7 against 2 moderates. It's basically a AI data center focused election. Like Will is the only one he's the only one for a 1-year moratorium on AI data centers, where the other 2, Matt and Bridget Brink, are a bit more slippery on it. There's a lot of drama happening between the 2 centrist candidates, where he's kind of just been coasting besides the occasional, hit from mainstream media. There's some interesting things that we can discuss there. People are curious about what happened because right before he announced it, there was what looked to be like there was going to be an issue, but actually there wasn't, and it was a misrepresentation of a actually really cool moment on a Black Internationalist podcast. So suffice to say, a lot of interesting things have been happening in that race, but it sounds like Will's probably pulling way ahead of both of them in the primary, which is cool. And Brent and MGP is probably going to be really close. We have a question from the chat. What is the question?
I think one of the most pressing things that we need to get started on is passing Medicare for all. My belief is that if Medicare for all gets passed, that is going to have benefits across the board. We're not just talking people get access to the healthcare that they need, but we're talking like 1 in 4 people are currently employed with a job that they do not like just to have healthcare. The 25% of America won't have to take jobs they don't want to just to get healthcare. You know, we think about the stress that will be lifted off of every single person in the country. I mean, anytime I think about having to go to the hospital, I feel anxious, like just thinking about like what that's going to cost, or it will have an impact on so many factors of our society that I think for those reasons that needs to be something that happens as soon as possible.
Run something. We encourage, you know, the everyday people like you're just a guy in this district, and you saw
Right.
something wrong and decided to run. So what is that experience like, being truly grassroots and truly having no experience in this? What has it been like building a campaign and everything that you've learned over the last few months?
I think the biggest lesson that I've learned, I thought about this today on the way over here. Everybody is going to have an opinion. Every single person that I talk to has an opinion on how we're supposed to run the campaign, how we're not supposed to run the campaign, what we're supposed to comment on and not comment on, people we should be taking photos with and people we shouldn't be taking photos with. And the more that I heard those opinions, I realized like, we need to pick and choose who we are taking advice from. All of the advice is important, but it's really vital that we kind of sort through it and decide for ourselves, like, what do we think is actually going to be to make the most impact. And so for our campaign, we only started 4 months ago. I mean, I decided to run 2 days before the filing deadline. And when I'd say for the first month, it was a lot of just meeting with people and figuring out what is standard in a campaign, because like I said earlier, none of us have any experience on political campaigns. And there are pros to that and there are cons. I think for the cons, I mean, there was a lot that we didn't know starting out, and we had to just work with that and try to gather as much information and as quickly as we could. And there's a lot that we would have done differently. Like with the information and the knowledge that we have now, there's a lot we would have done differently starting out. But I think the pros are that we're not beholden to what the standards are for every single candidate, because there's a lot of like the standards that we don't even know what they are. And so no one on our team is like stuck in like an outdated or an establishment way of thinking, because we don't come from that. And I think that's been a huge benefit for the campaign. Hi guys.
Absolutely. We don't want to take up too much more of your time. I mean, you're welcome to stay, but I would like to allow you to get back to your watch party and greet your guests. I do have one more question, and this one is kind of a joke. Not really, but if you're elected, this won't even be in your wheelhouse, but what would you do about how insanely ridiculous it is to register a vehicle in the state of Missouri? What can we do about that?
Oh, to register a vehicle? That's a great question. Unfortunately, Snack Mom, I don't know. I will write that down and get back to you. I'll talk to my friends at the DMV, and we'll have our people contact their people, who will contact your people.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Does that sound good? Does that sound
hold you
good?
to that.
Okay, understood. I hope you do.
Yes, absolutely. Well, good luck tonight. We will be
Thank you.
watching, and really, regardless of what happens tonight, you and your team have so much to be grateful for, and I know that you all know that because I've spoken with you and with the campaign. So the energy is fantastic, and we want to hear more from you. So just we'll stay in touch. But good luck and have a great time tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Actually,
take care.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much. Seriously, dude. We appreciate the work you've been putting in, and it's we're excited to see what happens next, regardless of the result. So. Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a bunch of results coming in from Missouri at the moment. I'm looking at the different races already in District 1. Based on a spreadsheet, we had identified. Oh no, this is Kansas, not Missouri. I apologize for leading you guys on. Let me go check the actual Missouri results. No, I know.
Missouri hasn't changed.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Oh no, there is.
There are some updates.
Yeah, there are 2 congressional districts that are in. We did have Missy Hesketh noted as a solid representative, at least based off of the 7 categories that we tend to rate on in these races. So she is one. On top of that, we have updates in districts 4 and 6. In District 4, Hartzell Gray is a DSA-backed endorsed candidate, and he is in second right now to Herrera, who is first with 38.8% to Hartzell Gray's 21.6%. There are 5 other candidates in the race who have votes, including Rick, who has 16, and Cass, who is actually only a couple hundred votes behind Hartzell. The thing is, there is less than 2,000. There is about 2,000 total votes in District 4 in at 3.9%. District 6 has only 1% in, with Josh Schmid, who we had actually identified because of his support for uncapping the House. Josh Schmid has 45.7% of the vote, which is a little bit under 300, ahead of Levine, who has 241 votes, or about 37.2%. Both of them are ahead of Honda Lick with 17.1%. And Emmanuel Cleaver's district has also been called in favor of Emmanuel Cleaver in District 5. Not a single Republican race has been called yet, which is kind of shocking considering that a couple of these guys are incumbents. However, wow. Yep.
Align with you best, because whenever we're going into November, it's more like, well, we don't want MAGA to win, right? But this is the time. So in a lot of these races, like in District 4, shout out to Kansas City people, I like Jordan Herrera and Hartzell Gray. We like them both. And and that's a highly contested primary out there. I would be happy with both of them. And then also with Tommy, I love Tommy. Bethany Mann is not a bad candidate. She's anti-APAC, and that's something that we're looking for. But then you go to District 1, huge shout out to Cori Bush, because we do not, in the St. Louis area, especially, we do not want more Wesley Bell. So the primaries, this is the time to get out there and to say, this is the person that I like, their values align most with mine, and then we're going to support who we need to support in November. But now is still the time to vote. So for people who only vote in generals, get out there and vote in those primaries. Oh, we just got some updates.
Yeah. Also, I should note, every race in Virginia, at least in the Democratic House primary, has been called. Obviously, Mark Warner was going to win Senate because he didn't have an opponent, and he's the Republicans. It has been called for one of the Republicans, but that's not going to matter, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I guess. Unfortunately, Mark Warner didn't have some sort of strong competition. But you're right, Jordan Herrera is extremely solid. I want to make sure I'm getting his name right. But what are the result updates?
So for District 1, I was just talking about Cori Bush. There's 16% in. Wesley Bell is leading that by 76.9%. Boo. Come on, Cori. That is part of one of his ads, by the way. And then we have... Sorry?
Wesley, we're talking about District 1. Sorry, that's my bad.
Yes.
Oh, wow,
yes,
that was a
going
big
down
drop.
the list.
Sorry, I was checking the other races. Okay, yeah. I don't like that. That's not fun. This is going to be a weird race. This race is not going to be entertaining to watch.
That's that APAC money.
Wesley Bell
takes that APAC money.
Haley Stevens is now below 35%. She's below 35, folks. Gio Coldwater commented. She's at 34.3. Abdul with 31,000 votes with 62%. Haley Stevens with 17,000 votes at 34%. And Mallory Morrow at 1,865 votes at 3.7%. I remember about a year ago I was having to write very lengthy disclaimers about why I preferred Abdul over Mallory, but that they were both kind of solid. McMorrow then got worse over the course of the campaign. Don't clip me out of context. I know how you Twitch people are. However,
Hunter is speaking about Michigan now, by the way. We're not still talking Missouri.
Okay, I feel like everyone watching our stream knows that who Abdul El-Sayed is and Haley Stevens at this point, hopefully. If they don't, well, we have some clips to we definitely should pull up the I See in My Dreams clip to help introduce them to Haley. But before we get there, you're right, there are more Missouri votes. Sorry, I just saw the comment in our chat, wanted to respond to them. How's District 2 doing?
Let's see. District 2 in Missouri is still fewer than 1% in, with Joan Vondres is at 56.5%. We have not really discussed Virginia, so let's hop over to Virginia. Hi, Ramus, do you want to cover that?
Now, we mentioned that all the Democrat primaries have been called. So have all the Republicans. One of the key races for the Republicans is the Senate. And Bert Misusawa has won with 51.1% of the vote. It's been called by AP. David E. Williams is 29%. Ken Farrington, 19.9%. So it's a bit not close at all. They're all three were running to challenge Democrat U.S. Senator Mark Warner, who was unopposed in his primary. So in November, Misusawa is going to be meeting up with Warner in terms of the general election. Virginia 1st District for the Democrats, I see that Shannon Taylor has won with 52.7% of the vote against Salam Bhati's 20.1% and Jason Knapp's 10%. The incumbent is Republican Rob Whitman, who is seeking a 10th full term. He was unopposed for renomination. For District 2, there we go. Elaine G. Luria has won with 81.1% of the vote. That's a bit lead, right? She's eyeing a rematch against her successor, two-term Republican Jen Kiggins. Her closest challenger was Nyla Demnath, who only got 4,283 votes, 15.6% of the vote. The other key big race, according to AP, is the 7th district for the Republicans. So for 7th district, the incumbent is Democratic Representative Eugene Vidman, although they are a freshman. So bit interesting, I suppose. Doug A. Olivant has won with 56.4% of votes in the Republican primary against Philip Harding with 30.8%. Vindman in Democratic primary was unopposed. With regards to the other races, let's see.
That's interesting that District 7, how close was that a margin in the, I'm going to check that, congressional races?
In GOP?
No, how close was the margin in 2024 for the Virginia race? Because if District 7 is seen as a potential flip or a potential, okay, that's a likely D. Come on, that's a weird, okay, that's kind of a reach. That's crazy. Okay, I don't like Eugene Vindman. I'm not going to hide the fact that I don't like Eugene Vindman because he is a bad politician, and also his brother is doing some really messed up shit right now in Florida during a Senate campaign, including Alex's wife saying some, at best, classist and at worst, very racist comments against Angie Nixon. So suffice to say, okay, the Cook PVI is D+2. What are they talking about? District 7's not going to flip, even if Eugene Vidman's not a great Dem. Anyways, suffice to say, I am not super worried about this district flipping. However, is Olivant a really notable guy in Virginia that I'm unaware of? What is his? Oh, he's a House. Okay, he's a state rep, so he's got some credibility. Got it.
Yeah, he only got into the this district this term, so I would imagine that this might be a bit of a weak spot anyway, just because of that. But yeah, the pauses.
Look, Eugene has $12 million in funding. It's a blue wave year. The Republican challengers combined for less than $1 million. Obviously, if the race seems closer than it should be, then we're going to see Republicans invest. But they don't have the money to be contesting races like this. They're too worried. They're trying to just preserve. At this point, they're playing not to lose rather than to win, unfortunately. Well, why am I saying unfortunately? Why am I having sympathy? They're all terrible down to a man. But when it comes to the National Republican Campaign Committee, they're being infested by groypers, according to some reports that came out this week, that the entire Republican Party staffers is becoming controlled by Nick Fuentes fans, which is a terrifying sentence, I think. Regardless, I guess it's possible, but it doesn't seem like there's got to be something specific going on in that district that I don't see it getting flagged.
I think, well, never say never, especially with elections, but yeah.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying the odds are I wouldn't be betting on Kalshi, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be betting on Kalshi, but I really wouldn't be betting on Kalshi.
I don't think anyone should be betting on Kalshi unless your results.
Oh, we should probably cover Kansas right now. In Kansas, the Senate race has not been called yet. Polls haven't even closed, but Adam Hamilton is leading with 45.8%. He is a pastor, by the way. He's running for Senate. There are candidates who are more aligned ideologically with me, like Ann Peralcar was probably the most ideologically aligned. But I had a list of candidates because there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And my top 5 were Ann Peralcar, Eric Murray, Noah Taylor, Adam Hamilton, and Christy Davis in that order. And I think that matches the top 5, just not in that order. Yeah. Wow. Okay, cool. So the top 5 coolest ones are all in the top 5, which is an interesting spread. Tells you why we need ranked choice in this country, because it would be cool if people could rate their favorite person and then that not hurt them when there's someone more ideologically close to them and they're splitting the votes, right? We will never get over Illinois District 9 in this house. In my house, we will never get over Cataboo losing because a smaller progressive candidate who had identical policies to her, getting basically the exact margin of votes between her and Daniel Biss, even though Daniel Biss is probably going to be a fine congressman. Still tragic. But that is the Kansas Senate race. I believe Colin McRoberts has just... no, Colin McRoberts' race is still going. We're 23.5% in. Coover, it has been called for, I think.
It's uncontested if you're talking about District 2.
Yeah, District 2, it's uncontested. He's a solid Army veteran, seemed like a decent dude. He had some opponents, but they all dropped off, I believe. Sharice Davids has secured nomination. She's an incumbent representative over Sarah Prue, is someone we actually interviewed for Rising Stars, but weren't able to take it much more forward than that. She was very cool, really liked her. However, she did get kind of annihilated by Sharice Davis, which is sad and unfortunate given Davids is strong support from everyone's favorite pack, APAC. And in District 4, Chris Carmichael has lost to Katie Tyndall. Now, obviously, the margins are likely to change as this is still 42.3% in, but 68 to 22.5 is that's pretty much game, set, match. I believe Carmichael was actually endorsed by a local DSA, but it sounds like that local DSA's endorsements were, and again, if someone is in Kansas District 4 and wants to tell me that I'm wrong, I encourage you to do so. However, based on my research, and I spent dozens of hours doing this over the past couple weeks, so trying to remember properly, Carmichael was endorsed, but the DSA chapter that did its endorsements aren't necessarily as large of a grassroots canvassing arm as we're going to see in Michigan with their endorsed candidates like Donovan McKinney in Michigan District 13, which is I believe DSA Detroit, which is is that Metro Detroit DSA? I don't remember the exact name. Regardless, they have a great grassroots electoral arm. So an endorsement from them is going to be more reflective of a DSA endorsement on the national scale. And also, if Carmichael was endorsed, not just recommended, that is not a national DSA endorsement. That's a local chapter, which is not the same thing. And I just got a nice text from one of my friends at the Michigan campaign parties. How are those going right now, Michigan races? And Haley Stevens has finally crawled back above 35% with 35.1% of the vote. And in Michigan, they still haven't called any of the races yet, but Will Lawrence is pretty handily leading over Brink and Mastum. Don't split votes, guys. Most of the other races are... Eric Chung is massively getting on Hines. That's a race I've been trying to follow. And none of the other races are in yet. 11, 12, and 13 don't have a singular vote in yet, which I don't think those are in Central Time. So I think that's to do with how long it takes to count things in Detroit. Washington votes are not in yet.
I do wonder about the governor's race in Kansas because I believe that the Kansas governor is term limited. Incumbent Governor Laura Kelly is term limited, and there are 3 candidates who want to be the Democrat nominee to succeed her. Hochscher is leading by a margin of around 1% against Ethan Corson. Hochscher is 44.7%, Corson is 43.6%, but the Republican field is Ty Murchison is leading by a lot, 48.1% against Philip Sarnecki's 20%. So it looks like whoever is the Democratic nominee will be facing off against Ty Masterson, who is endorsed by Donald Trump. Yeah.
There's a great line about the Kansas Democratic primary by a appointed Democratic official that says, "We know in Kansas we have to elect a moderate Democrat, but by God, do we want to elect a moderate Democrat who won't bend their knees for Trump?" And I think that is pretty telling, because what we're looking at right here is a big discussion about AI data centers and some other hostility. What are we looking at here, though? I want to make sure I'm not quoting. The front runners, Masterson and Hochscher, were being criticized about AI data centers. But if I remember, Hochscher is actually the only Democrat who has called for moratoriums on AI data centers. So she's being attacked by some of the AI PACs. It does not seem to be, not to be confused with APAC. Those are different things, but they're both bad. Either way, doesn't seem to be working as she's leading. Anyone in the chat got a strong opinion on the Kansas governor race and would like to chime in?
Well, looking at chat, there's nothing, but
there's some stuff about Kansas needing to adopt ranked choice voting based on their Senate race, and I agree. Thank you, Geo Coldwater. However, when it comes to, I think some of the tech issues are probably transferring over to the viewers, if you know what I mean.
Well,
Keith, let us know if we ever get simul streamed on Instagram, because if so, I'll assign someone to the.
I know when we
to those
tried
comments.
I know when we tried the Instagram one, the comments there were like very interesting to say the least. So.
Oh yeah, the comments there are fascinating. Not always good, but fascinating. However, there's some pretty solid comments. Eventually, we can probably restream to we have a big TikTok that we don't use a ton of just because we don't like Ellison, but we don't use it not at all. It's got close to 100,000 followers. In our bio, it says literally follow us anywhere else, which I think is a great thing. We stopped using it for a while, but then we realized we probably need to keep posting. So we've been posting a little bit, just like random stuff that seemed good. Occasionally, stuff goes viral, which is fun. I also posted on TikTok my personal account, and my first ever video that got over 1,000 likes just hit. It was making fun of MGP and saying that people should vote for Brett Hendrich because I know what I'm about. But
to be fair, all the Chancy folks are on TikTok these days, unfortunately. So we probably should.
Yeah, there's a lot of chapters posting on there. Oh wow, the Kansas Secretary of State race is not close at all. Anyone want to guess the margin?
Kansas Secretary of State?
Okay. Like, if I take the top vote getter and then the next vote getter and I subtract their percentages, what's the difference, right? The percent change, like the percentage point difference. So, like, I'm not saying percent increase, percent decrease, but, like, simply, like, if, like, someone has 50% of the vote, someone has 40% of the vote, that's a 10 percentage point difference. Like, that's a difference of 10 percentage points. Any guess how big the margin is here?
Hunter, are you talking about the Kansas Secretary of State?
It's 76.4% difference with Jennifer Day with 88.2% and Samuel Lane with 11.8%, which is crazy. From my understanding, Jennifer Day is generally speaking the more progressive one, so this is very fascinating.
If you look at Anderson County, even though it's like 69 votes total, their lead is like 88.4%. Like, wow. And then Allen County got 84.8%, and then it just goes down from there. But yeah, Anderson, Allen, what's going on?
District 2 changed. Okay. In Missouri.
Yes.
Sorry, not to be that guy, but there's now 22% of the vote in District 2, and Fred Wellman is pulled in. Sorry, Wellman. Frank Wellman? Fred Wellman?
Fred.
The fact that I called shot that is great. I only have the first initial, so I'm doing the best I can here. Is ahead of Vondras now, 49-42, with 22% in. That's a really close margin. Schmeed, however, as the district total has actually gone up, has actually pulled ahead more looking than he was already. And District 8 is in with 9.6% of the vote. Barneats is leading with 2% over Chris Reichert with 1,204 votes to 1,156. I can't conclude anything from that. That just means there's two people that are running. I mean, I think Reichert is more, I just mean like based on the race, like the actual election results. Reichert is the more progressive candidate based off of the research that I put in. However, 2% with 9.6% in is not, that doesn't mean anything. It's like that, it might as well have not moved. Like, like that isn't, like if you're sitting there, you're like, well, that told me nothing. So, sorry. I've sat in like campaign war rooms during like, as in high school, during, say local ones and watching the ballot drops, and we're like, that didn't tell us anything. Like that vote didn't, like, cool, we 50% each way. What does that mean? So, like, suffice to say, are there any races that like you guys are? What is the race that you guys are the most invested in right now? and you can't say the Michigan Senate race because we all care about that one. So you can't pick the number one. And if everyone in comments picks Donovan McKinney, I'm also going to yell at you. So, but like most of you can still pick Donovan McKinney, but at least one person pick something else. But like, what about in here? What races are you guys most into right now? Like across the country when it comes to the primaries tonight.
Well, I'm still keeping an eye on amendments 4 and 5 for Missouri. I was looking for an update on that. And then obviously, like, you took away my joy in talking about Michigan. So thanks, Hunter.
You can still talk about it. I just mean, like, if you say like your favorite, the race that you care the most, the race that you want to talk the most about is Abdul El Sayed. We know. We all know. It's all of us want to talk about it. Like, I just mean, that's all I mean. District 4 has been called. Sorry, Amendment 4, not District 4 in Missouri.
According
Have you seen
to who?
According to, I mean, we're talking at NBC News' decision desk.
Oh,
let me look.
No, AP hasn't called it, but I mean,
AP hasn't called it, no.
Okay, so
80.1% though. I mean, wouldn't be surprised.
But it's only that's only with 10% votes in.
I suppose
it's normal to call it when it's that difference of a.
I mean, I'm happy with that. I will be more than happy to call that right there for 4 and 5. Even from when it was fewer than 1%. 5, it's got 9% in, and it's 109,092 no. That's 83.7% no.
Wow.
These are overwhelming no's so far. So unless something changes drastically,
I mean, District 4, the District 4 one was just insane, right? Like,
you mean Amendment 4?
Sorry, it is the amendment about congressional districts. So you can see how my brain is getting crossed.
Yeah, Amendment 4.
Right? Yeah, it's Amendment 4. It's about the districts, which does include District 4. So my brain is trying to do the path of least resistance here, but it's failing because, it is succeeding, but that means it's failing.
But both of these are really, really bad. A lot of people were paying attention to 5 and kind of reading between the lines because across the board, without thinking about who's a Democrat, who's a Republican, this is something that affects everybody's wallets, right? So there's been a lot of attention to Amendment 5 for that reason. Is we don't want to end up in a situation where our schools are even less funded than they are currently, and where we're struggling even more than people are right now to put food on the table. But Amendment 4 is equally terrifying. So I'm very pleased with the results that we're seeing, and I will continue to hit refresh and hope that those stay exactly where they're at with the resounding no on both of those.
Look, now I can't, like, this race isn't callable yet, but there's one other amendment that's really big today. So Kansas has an amendment. It's actually Amendment 1, which is about whether or not that they will directly elect their Supreme Court justices. And the problem here is requiring elections for state Supreme Court. Republicans have been frustrated by nominees repeatedly not being as fascist as they want them to be, and instead being kind of institutionalist, which is what most people who become Supreme Court justices at the state level are going to be like. And so they wanted to replace that with direct elections. Now, I think that direct elections for Supreme Court judges is something we should consider, but probably not do. I think that there should be like nonpartisan commissions and like a rotating bench and a whole different things to protect here. But I do think that like elections for justices is going to become a problem, because it's nice that, like, despite the situation we're currently in, I think things would be worse if we had Supreme Court Judge Jeanine Pirro. I think that would be worse. Suffice to say, I'd be really scared about direct elections of justices, and I'd be especially scared if I'm a person in Kansas who likes having my rights. And let's see the results. Holy shit, 172,000 people have already voted. That's 26% of the vote in And of them, 122,000 have said, no, we don't want to do it. So it's not callable yet, but 122,000 no and 50,000 yes is a pretty good margin, especially in Kansas specifically. Obviously, they have like a blue governor and stuff, and I think that they'll probably continue, especially considering right now. But if a governor won in 2022, they're probably going to win in 2026. The same party. If it's the Dem party, but this is probably this is almost certainly a referendum on two things, which is one, Republicans, and two, abortion. So it's, do you like reproductive health rights? Would you like to keep them? And then the other thing is, do you like Donald Trump and the way prices are going right now? And the answer, according to a majority of Kansans, is no, we don't. Even if they're even those of them who are more conservative. However, I have a big question, which is, why are we deciding constitutional ballot amendments during a primary? Who decided to do that? That's bad. We shouldn't. No. Well, actually, I don't know. Why do some states vote on amendments?
I have a theory.
What's your theory?
If it's being pushed by Republicans and MAGA specifically, who is more likely to turn out historically for midterm elections? Who's more in primaries? Like we saw this with Oklahoma, we're seeing this in Missouri, we're seeing this in Kansas. These elections historically have a lower voter turnout, and the ones that do show up are your older white Republicans, who are going to either not be educated or, are going to vote the way that.
Actually, the two most important predictors of whether or not you vote in a midterm, if you vote in a primary, is wealth and education. The more educated, the more wealthy you are, the more likely you are to vote, because the more likely you are to be an informed voter.
Well, right. But I mean, for Republicans, that was kind of a dig. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
For a long time, this was Republicans. And then something happened, and that something was Donald Trump. And now a whole bunch of people in the suburbs are like, oh, damn, we're kind of racist. Maybe we should stop. And now they vote blue. And that's why Orange County is no longer the county of Reagan. But because of that, that probably has led to a bit of an advantage for Democrats in some states, like the Midwest, actually, like this part of the Midwest, like Kansas, which is prone to electing like moderate Democrats, for example. That's probably led to a benefit for them when it comes to protecting themselves from this situation. However, with a margin that large, that's okay. Why did it say Director Hieronymus above my head? I assume the audience can see that. But I can't see that.
I think that was from me. I don't know. I don't think they could, but
that's funny.
While we're here, though, we do have some results from Kansas and Michigan. And polls have closed completely in Michigan. I'm hearing something. But yeah, in Kansas, the race for U.S. Senate and District 3 have been called for the Democratic primary. Let's go to the Senate first, because that would be a key race for JP. Adam Hamilton has officially won the Democratic primary with 36,841 votes. That's 44.6% of the vote, compared to Christy Davis's.
He's probably got the best chance of winning the Senate when it comes to all the Dems running. So from a elect less fascist way, that's probably a win, even if there's some candidates I thought were ideologically more interesting. But I like Adam. Seems like a nice guy. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
Against Christy Davis's 10,161 votes, 12.3%. District 3, I don't know if it was already called, but according to AP, it's been called. Sharice Davis has been made the Democratic nominee with 87% of the vote. That's 38,270 votes. So that's a lot. For the Republican primary for governor, Ty Masterson has won. He again was the Trump pick for governor for the Republican primary. So it'll be a Trumpist who'll be going against the will be sitting hosted right now for the governor Kansas election in November. We also have results coming in from Michigan and Missouri, although I don't know if we covered Missouri House District 1 yet. I think we might have.
We have not. I was just shaking my head at that one. The Associated Press has called it for Wesley Bell in House District 1.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
With
think you might have just heard that in the
70.7.
background.
Well, we were thinking it, so
That's brutal. That's really sad. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
APAC won that one.
we can't win. We can't win every race, folks. In fact, we're going to lose a lot of races, but the goal is to win enough. And we can do that because we've already won more races than the Republican Tea Party won in 2010. We've already ousted more city incumbents. And we did that last
Exactly.
month. So at this point, like, this is all gravy at this point. We have already exceeded expectations. This, however, is not gravy because now, okay, hold on. Should caveat this. Wesley Bell does support Medicare for all, does support abolishing ICE. He did vote to thank ICE in 2025. Granted, that was probably more a virtue signaling about Israel than it was virtue signaling about ICE for him specifically. He just really, really sucks when it comes to genocide, but he's not like some sort of like super moderate. Like, I gave him on my mom notification guide, one of the biggest negatives you can have is being very pro-Israel, like like sanctioning the ICC and everything. So he ended up with a -1 on. It's really hard to get below a -1. It's like really hard to get below a 0 in most cases, but this one's easier in endless wars. And despite that, he had a 2.17. So if he had gone a 0, right? If he had like not received it, he would have been a 3.17, which is higher than probably most congressional representatives. Now, again, I'm doing a bunch of caveats here, and if you also didn't count the APAC money, you'd be even higher because that hurts you in the End Citizens United category. Suffice to say, he is not nearly as like conservative as like some of the other like really bad Democrats out there. He's a really bad Democrat, but he's a really bad Democrat because of genocide specifically. Like on criminal justice and stuff, he's obviously not as good as Cory Bush is going to be, but he's not like, he's not Chuck Schumer. Like, it's just not like he's just so bought by the pro-Israel lobby, specifically like the pro-Netanyahu, the pro-genocide lobby, that like, like it's just like that's why he sucks. So it's not as bad. Like, Haley Stevens is probably a worse person than Wesley Bell is, and also like MGP is a worse person than Wesley Bell is, and the list goes down. So I'm not as upset about this as some people are, probably, but I'm also still upset about this because I like Hartzell Gray and I hate Wesley Bell. But just like a
You
caveat,
mean Cory Bush?
Who did I say I like?
Well, we do like
Oh, yeah.
Hartzell Gray, but he's District
Oh yeah, but
4.
sorry, I was looking at the results from District 4, and I think I think it's kind of over for Hartzell. Unfortunately, it's not called yet, but like he's at 17%. He's in 3rd place now. But you're right. I like Cory Bush. I probably like her more than I like Hartzell Gray, actually, but I don't like Wesley Bell. Sorry, I got my Missouri DSA candidates backwards. Let me check to make sure it's Isaac Scott.
We're looking at a lot of screens and a lot of names, y'all.
Yeah. Well,
And we are neurodivergent as fuck.
That's really funny. Yes, Wesley Bell is a progressive except Palestine.
We do have results from the governor's race in Michigan.
Is it? They called it already for Benson?
They called it, and for the governor, not for the Senate, but
yeah, they called it for Benson.
yeah, and it's not even close.
How bad is it? I figured she's gonna win, but what's the difference?
Let's play a guessing game. Though. How much do you? What's your guess?
I'm gonna go over 80% of the vote.
Well, I will tell you it's at 84.7. Benson's at 84.7%, with 204,522 votes against Chris Swanson's 37,069. on the Republican primary, John James is leading with 51.5% against Perry Johnson's 35.5%. Mind you, that Perry Johnson used to be a presidential candidate, so not a famous one. I don't know if you've heard of the Democratic or Republican candidacy of Perry Johnson, but yeah, John James is leading again with 58,043 votes. Perry Johnson has 40,251 votes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it looks like John James is probably going to win. By the way, I don't like John James because he's John James, but I do like the name. It's Give Superhero. He's I believe, isn't he a representative? Isn't he a congressman?
Right, give me one moment. Yeah, John James is a U.S. representative, so don't know which particular district, but I wonder how his district's going. But we do have results update from the Senate race. The margin that El Sayed had is now down. Abdul El Sayed has 131,804 votes. That's 52.6% of the vote. Compared to Haley Stevens's 110,970 votes, that's 44.3%. So this is much with 17% of the votes in. So obviously things can change, but the margin between the two has gone down significantly. In either case, they'll be going against Mike Rogers for the general election.
Also, Kansas governor has been called for Cindy Holscher. Or no, sorry. Wait, no. I'm wrong.
Not yet. But,
no, I'm wrong. Secretary of State got called. That's my bad. I was looking at the wrong race.
Well, I will say the Republican one for governor has been called already. Well, I mentioned that.
Yep, I combined things. Ty Masterson has ran away with it with 40% of the vote over two candidates one of whom got 20%, one that got 18%. It has been and there is a bunch more candidates who got basically nothing. Holscher's at 45.2, Corson's at 43.1. Dang, I was very off on what I said there. That's not close. That's very close. However, Jennifer Day has won over Samuel Lane, the whole moderate conservative Democrat guy, Samuel Lane. Jennifer Day, who is a bit more normal Democrat, which is nice to see in Kansas, has 87.2% of the vote, and she will face Pat Proctor in the primary. Jennifer Day is a member of the Kansas House, by the way. So she is, I believe a guy resigned. I don't know why he resigned, but a guy resigned in the Kansas House, and she got either nominated or she was appointed to fill it in. And if I remember correctly, the thing that I most remember from reading about her was that she introduced a bill to prevent police officers from being hired if they had certain misconduct things already on their record, which is so common sense that it's so shocking that was even introduced in a Kansas House, knowing how that's hard to get introduced here in California in a lot of cases. So it's great that she was the one who was sponsoring that bill. So good for Jennifer. But do we have any more Michigan updates, or how are we doing there?
Let's look at the 7th district because that one is a little close. So that's for Democrat primary with William Lawrence is currently leading with 40.2%. That's 10,207 votes against Bridget Brinks' 7,695 votes. 30.3% vote, and Matt Mazdem's 7,478%, 29.5% of vote. With 21% of the votes counted. So it's a bit close for second, and there's a bit of relay second to first. It's a bit interesting because Bishop Brink used to be the ambassador to Ukraine, and Matt Mazdem used to be a Navy SEAL. So
yeah, I know a lot about this race because Will is one of our rising stars. So Bridget is a former Ukrainian ambassador, as you mentioned. She's also been accused of insider trading regarding, I think, specifically rare earth minerals like lithium. She did resign, I believe, under the Trump administration. Matt Musselman is a Navy SEAL, as you mentioned. He's a vet. And the important fact about that is because it led to Alyssa Slotkin endorsing him over her, despite him polling in third and her polling in second at the time of the endorsement. This led to an increased split of the more moderate votes. When I did my mom donification guide and I scored them, Will got a perfect 7 out of 7, and I know this because we interviewed him, so I was able to fact check our actual interviews there. Not every candidate we interview gets a 7 out of 7. You don't have to get a 7 out of 7 to be a 51 Rising Stars. Those are different scales. They have different purposes. There are things that regardless, but there's some overlap because it's the policy priorities. Regardless, Will did great, but Brink and Mastum both had a 1.67 out of 7, which is really funny that they actually managed to get the same score. I looked up after doing Matt's score and was like, wait a second. I think Bridget just got... It's like, should I try to see if I'm wrong here and see if I should change it? Because I don't want it to seem like I'm doing a bit. But then I looked and I fact checked myself on all of it, and I couldn't find a single reason to mark them up or down any more than I already had. So they were at 1.67, a tied score. They are so ideologically similar, and yet Slotkin endorsed the one in third, who then was polling in second, although he is currently in third again. So there's a lot of drama in the establishment Democrat space over this. And meanwhile, Will Lawrence was having his own unrelated side quests. He's the co-founder of the Sunrise Movement. He's a 50-51 Rising Star. He is I don't believe he's backed by the DSA, but he has definitely had a lot of DSA-aligned beliefs. He's very strong Green New Deal. He actually helped pass, his advocacy led directly to the passing of one of the most important and I think the largest ever green jobs program in the history of the United States under the Biden administration. He helped push for and made that happen through his advocacy with the Sunrise Movement and other advocacy he has done since then more inside the halls of power. So Sunrise is a pretty big partner of ours for No Kings and a lot of other actions that we take because they're pretty great on climate, but they're also very progressive on a number of other issues. And their model is similar enough to our model where there's a lot of overlap there. So it's kind of fun that we got to support in some sense, although he's no longer involved with the Sunrise Movement. They did endorse him. To be clear. It was cool to sort of support a partner while also supporting the best option in a district. And it looks like the district is going to put him first, even if there's weird situation with, other candidates getting a lot of the vote too. But he is currently 10 percentage points ahead, and hopefully that doesn't change much. And they just called the first race. I believe this is District 11. Moss won over for Haley Stevens' old district. I believe Moss is the more establishment choice. For Faruqi was canvassing a lot with Abdul El Sayed and other progressive choices, or at least there was a lot of overlap between creators canvassing for both of them. And I can go more into their positions if we want to later. Regardless, though, that is that's a little bit rough. I liked Aisha. She was cool. And nonetheless, she does not advance, and Jeremy Moss does. Do we have any other races called Michigan? Or is it
10th District in Michigan. Don't know if you can hear me well because I had to change my audio source, but
we can hear you.
That's good. But the 10th District in Michigan, and that's the Republican one, by the way. The Trump endorsed Mike Bouchard has won the 10th District Republican primary. He has 7,587 votes compared to Justin Kirk's 1,723 votes, so 74.3% compared to 16.9%. That's only with 14% of the votes in. But yeah, where's the Democrats? And the Democrat primary, Christina Bertrand Hines is leading with 45.3%, 6,964 votes, compared to Eric Chung's 5,122 votes. So 33.3% of the vote. So it looks like the Trumpist Mike Bouchard will be going up against what looks to be Christina Bertrand Hines. Mind you, this is a seat that the Democrats are hoping to flip in the general election. So this one might be an important one.
So this race was interesting because Chung was endorsed by basically every legislative official that I've ever heard of in the Michigan space, and also a bunch of random Democrats from across the political spectrum in like on the federal level. Like Becca Balint endorsed him. And then Tim Gramiel, who's got 21% of the vote, he's in third, was endorsed by a whole bunch of labor. And Hines wasn't endorsed much by many people, like Vote Vets, I think. And somehow she was polling at 50%. They were polling at like 20% each. And it looks like that's going to hold. Although, again, too early to call. But like, if you actually look at, I encourage someone to just look at the Michigan Wikipedia for like the congressional races and just look at the endorsements and then compare it to the current ballot results, because it is extremely funny. Extremely sad if you are Gremiel or Chung, of course. But like, we got Andy Kim, Becca Balin, Judy Chu, Pablo Rivera, Tim Kennedy, Grace Meng, Dave Min, Mike Quigley, Mark Schauer, Marilyn Strickland, Mark Ticano, Julie Takuda, Rich Torres, Derek Tran. We got a couple state legislators. We got Gina Raimondo, former U.S. Secretary of Commerce, the former U.S. Ambassador to Vietnam, Ted Osius. We got Carol Browner, former administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency under Bill Clinton. We got like Equality PAC, Human Rights Campaign. Then Tim Gremiel's got like the American Federation of State and County Employers and like Communication Workers of America, AFL-CIO, Michigan Education Association. He's got Jack PAC, which is how you know he's actually probably the worst of these options, because that's another one of those really annoying pro-Zionist PACs that exist. And then Christina Hines is mostly just endorsed by like state legislators and local officials and some organizations like Emily's List and Citizens United and Giffords. And Patriotic Millionaires, which is interesting. Normally they endorse someone more progressive than that. But Eric Chung, like, it is fascinating what happened here. Like, I want to read a really good New Republic article about what the hell happened in this race, assuming Hines wins, and even if she doesn't, because like Hines is third in fundraising behind both of them, and it looks like she's probably going to win. This does add to my theory of uninformed primary voters in the Democratic primaries are more likely to vote for women because they see them as safer choices because of the amount of scandals about men and also about a conscious choice or unconscious choice to promote equality, considering how few women we have in Congress compared to men. But it's interesting seeing this bared out in like reality yet again. And I don't know what to do about that. I'm trying to figure out what the factors are here. But I do think one girl, two guys is possibly a factor in this case.
Hunter, we do have some updates.
Oh.
In Michigan, District 12 has been called for Rashida Tlaib. That is poll rev endorsed. We love that. And then in Missouri, it has been called a no on 4 and 5.
Wait, that's official? AP called it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great list. Have they called District 3? Because fortunately, it's been called for NBC.
According to AP from Missouri, no.
Yeah, District 3, there's 19.7% of the votes in. Bethany Mann is leading with 69.1% of the vote over Holstein with 17.6%. Which, again, sometimes with the rising stars, we're endorsing someone because, like, we really think that our endorsement can help push them to the top. Sometimes we're endorsing them because we're trying to get the name recognition and the focus and spotlight in on either the race or on the individual for future races. So, I'm going to be, I came into this with the understanding that this result was not unlikely, but nonetheless, getting that extra, getting someone in there who hadn't done politics before and getting more people engaged, especially young people through, I say young people as if I'm not 23, but getting people my generation engaged in the political process, I have to imagine a lot of his votes are first-time voters, is good because those people will stay engaged, even if the candidate that they were looking for didn't win, especially because Bethany Mann, doesn't suck. Right. And I don't want to speak for Tommy, but I think that Bethany is the kind of person who, if I was Tommy, I'd be comfortable, endorsing after losing to. And I think vice versa. I think Bethany's positions were solid enough that I think she would endorse Tommy if she lost to him. I don't know enough about Wilson, but I kind of knew he was going to come in third.
He withdrew. So.
Oh, he withdrew? How does he still have 13% if he's in third?
I'm looking to see if we have any more updates from Michigan now.
The Republican primary has been called for District 8. Wait, no, it's not been called. I'm so sorry. I screwed up there. What the?
Chris Reichert is in front for District 8 of Missouri, though. I was watching that race. That was one I was complaining about earlier. I was like, are we gonna cover and show what's happening there? Well, the answer is Reichert is now winning 56-44, which is what I would like to see. If that margin holds, I would be a happy man about that race.
Okay, has it been called? According to the live updates, the Missouri 8 has been. That's what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I screwed up Michigan and Missouri. Although they're very different in terms of like. Anyway, okay. El Sayed's race has dropped down a bit. It says the difference is now 7.8%. Which ones have we not covered at all yet? Missouri 5 for Republicans. Bratton is leading against Taylor Burks. Taylor Burks. Bratton in Republican primaries leading 6,266 votes against Taylor Burks is 4,440. So 39.1% compared to 27.7%. Mind you that whoever will win will be challenging Democratic incumbent Emmanuel Cleaver, who has represented the Kansas City area in the House for 12 terms. Mind you that the mid-decade redistricting has carved up the district, making it a possible pickup in November. Also, Bethany Mann has won the Democratic nomination for U.S. House in the Missouri 3rd Congressional District. So, bad news for Tommy Holstein. APS called it, so go ahead.
Yes. Well, can we see that without gas prices going higher though? Like, can we see the blue wave without the gas price? Because I don't want to pay even more for gas and groceries. Please, blue wave. I know. I have suffered enough. We have suffered enough.
Exciting. We're fighting against it because we want it to stop. Like, what I would love is if Trump saw Jesus and then tomorrow decided to basically be DSA aligned, but like that's not gonna happen. So we push him as hard as we can to try to mitigate and stop the damage as much as he can. But the silver lining is when we fail and he continues to do the evil, is it only hurts him more because it shows the entire world who he is, and that's bad for And then the American people only remember things in a 4-year cycle, of course. So like they're not going to remember that if his son runs in 32 or whatever. But like, hopefully the 4 years after can be like very good and positive and good things happen. And people are like, I want more of this. I want more President AOC or like whoever, raised up John Ossoff. There's a couple options here. This isn't me making an endorsement, although I probably prefer AOC. Regardless, I don't like to be that guy, but yeah, there is a relationship between president being bad at job and bad things happening, and then people voting for the other guy. So, yeah. Like there's other versions of a blue wave year, but they're actually worse if gas prices go up. So I'm not going to say most of them, but like there's other ways to get a bunch of people to vote blue.
Yeah.
I feel like. Good.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to go back to the Michigan. So
I feel like, for like the last couple of decades, like it's been common to have a blue wave every like couple of midterms. The last when the Republican has been the president, that is. So last time Trump was president in the 2018 midterms, we did have a blue wave. And then I want to say 2006 might have been a blue wave. I don't know. No, was it 2006? Yeah, 2006. Yeah. Don't know if that was also a blue wave. Don't know about 2002 though. That might not have been blue wave. But yeah, for the last couple of midterms, there's always been a bit of a blue wave, sort of. So I suppose I wouldn't be surprised. I absolutely not be surprised if this one was a huge one, but I would not bet on Kalshi for a red wave at all.
I was gonna say I may have been the only one alive to look for or to witness any blue wave in 2002, right? So
One of my
the only one alive on
creators-
this stream.
I mean, I don't know how Hunter is, but I definitely was born after that. So
What are we saying about 2002?
That of those of us on this stream, I was the only one alive to have witnessed that.
Oh yeah, I was a concept of a plane during 9/11. This has been discussed on stream before.
Yes.
Uh,
By the way,
I
I
didn't
am proud to see you eating. Good job.
I've eaten basically nothing today, unfortunately, so I thought snacking would be a good choice. However, I should give an update. One of my friends, Brittany Gordon, better known as Brit.stunting on Instagram, go follow her, did text in a group chat I'm in and let me know that Abdul El Sayed just received Assad numbers in Ann Arbor, receiving over 95% of the vote in the Ann Arbor precinct, which is crazy high. Because that's a large precinct, because we're talking like college students.
I do got some bad news more broadly though. It's now down to 7 in the Senate. It's now the margin is now down to 7.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to whittle. What's going to happen is it's going to whittle down and then it's going to go back up. That's the most likely scenario here, because early voting is because generally speaking, more progressive votes come in later, in younger people, people who had multiple jobs and could only make it to the polls at the last second, that kind of deal. People with ADHD who forgot to turn their ballots way early. I don't, because I am hyper focused on this shit. But most people, forget to turn it in or turn it in later than they should. So those come in later. So what I expect is for this to get closer and then for it to spread. Especially as more votes get counted in different areas in Detroit, for example. But we don't know for sure yet. Let me look at some of the county margins.
We have a comment in the chat while Hunter is checking up on that.
Stevens is only winning by 2% in Oakland, and that's 67% in. Oh my God. Sorry, Oakland County is one of the 10 wealthiest counties in the country. It's one of those counties we talked about that used to be really Republican, but it's now blue. Although they start shifting back in the 90s. So they're wealthy, white, moderate Democrats, right? And Stevens is winning with 3,352 votes over Abdul, which is actually a smaller margin than the number of people voted for Mallory before they knew she dropped out. So that margin is 2.2%. And that margin is crazy low. That's a really good margin for those of us who do not want to see Haley Stevens running in the general election, because we know that $60 million in outside money is going to dry up because Mike Rogers and her agree on the things that the dark money agrees on. I'm not saying that Mike Rogers and Haley Stevens are the same. I want to be clear on my critique here. The reason why Haley Stevens is getting a bunch of money is because of her stances on things like data centers in Israel. Stances that Mike Rogers shares because Mike Rogers is a Republican running for Senate, which definitionally means, if he is someone who is, won a primary and is a Republican running for Senate, that he has no soul. It was stolen by a Dementor before he was born. And he is already in hell. His soul is already in hell in the ninth circle. Dante has a word for this in Italian, where you've done something so evil that your soul goes directly down to hell and a demon takes comes into your body, and that is like every Republican senator at this point, except for maybe Lisa Murkowski. So, Mike Rogers is definitionally evil. Haley Stevens is contextually evil. There is a difference, right? So, like, we focus our vitriol on a lot of establishment Democrats. That's not because we think Republicans are good. And again, I'm talking about elected officials. Individuals vary widely. I have plenty of friends who are registered Republican who are good people, though very few of them actually vote Republican. They usually are in there to vote against Trump twice. However, when it comes to politicians, there's like 5 good Republicans. Where? You tell me, because I haven't seen them. And I mean that on all levels. So, the last good one was Adam Kinzinger, and he is not in Congress anymore for a reason. Higher left, and it feels quiet. Or you had to do something, so we went on mute for a second. How we doing now? Okay, Abdullah 51.
I'm refreshing. I am looking at Michigan District 13. Donovan McKinney is leading. It's been sitting at 2% of results in for quite some time. But he is leading with 63.1% of that 2%.
Sorry, my friend of mine is stuck in a line to try to get inside of somewhere, so I'm not sure he's going to be able to hop on. Just trying to get a person in from Michigan. However, I should note that it turns out that some of my friends from California met some of my Chicago organizer friends, and there's a really cool photo. So I'm happy about that. Got a couple updates from the people in Michigan. Spirits are high. Obviously, Haley has cut into Abdul's margins a reasonable amount. What we are expecting the most likely result is for this margin to get closer and closer. Not quite, but not yet super close, hopefully, and then diverge again. Like we're expecting like a what's the word here? Parabola? Yeah, a parabolic result there. I could be wrong. I might be using the wrong term there. I'm not a math guy. I only know enough math to understand elections, and even then. However, Haley Stevens is leading in Sanilac County with 48 votes. Sorry, that's mean. She is leading in a couple counties that do have a lot of votes, like Oakland. How does Oakland way more in than like everything else except for the stuff right next to it? And the stuff next to it, Washtenaw, 65% in. Let me see. Basically, very little of the top has come in. Which Detroit counties? Detroit. Yeah, okay. Metro region. I was right. It is Metro DSA. Where is relative to? I'm just looking for. All counties. Right now, there is 1.6% of the votes in for Wayne County in Detroit. Haley Stevens is leading by like 240 votes there, but that's less than 5,000 total votes. So that's hard to say what that means at this time. But the fact that there's so little votes in from Wayne means that it's probably going to be a while before we have a full definitive answer on who wins the Michigan primary. Even though it's hard to imagine if I'm one of Abdul and one of Haley's. If I'm in Abdul's campaign war room, and I'm in Haley's war room. In Abdul's war room, I'm probably sipping on an old fashioned, and just relaxing and waiting for the results to keep coming in. If I'm in Haley's war room, I've had several shots of Malort. So that's where I'm at right now, metaphorically speaking. What's up, Diana? What is up? Everything okay? I hear a loud noise in the background. Okay. Hi, Hire. Can we see you back on camera again? Is that working now? I'm not sure I can hear you. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if that's me problem or what's going on here.
Test. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm good. Obviously, there's some delay between what I'm saying and the actual Twitch reaction.
Test. Can you hear me? I'm mostly hearing static.
Snack Mom, can you hear him? Okay, Snack Mom, how's it going on your end? Yes.
There
yes,
we go.
Can. Let's look in at some of the races that we had not quite. Okay, Adam Hamilton's probably coasting around that 40% margin, so I'm going to put that one away in tabs. Washington, we do not have results yet. We're expecting to get results
At 10, probably?
We're not. Nope. Washington's not going to come in until 11 p.m. Eastern, so we are not covering that on. We will just do a prayer for.
I still
Brett.
can't hear Hunter.
We will do a non-denominational. I'm hearable on the thing, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, my Twitch stream is still an ad, so oops. Also, Lauren Reinhold has won the Democratic nomination for Kansas first. Actually, it looks like most of the Democrat races have been called in Kansas, and all of the Republican ones have been called. This is in Kansas, by the way.
Just testing because I'm not hearing anything from our director right now to see if the stream can hear me. So it's a snack.
I'm hearing. Yeah. I'm hearing static.
I mean, like, look, it's probably just an issue on Snapcom's end. It's no big deal. I'm just going to add some people to a thing. Then we probably has there been anyone who is like besides Rashida Tlaib who we need to make a graphic for? Who else is there like a really good like time for a really good graphic makes sense with this sort of these sort of races? Because like I'd say the biggest highlight right now is the Tlaib win. And I'm trying to look at some of the other races and see who. Reinhold beat McRoberts. Dang it, that's rough. Kansas did not go the way I wanted it to go in the House, which is not surprising. However, it did in the Senate. It went kind of mid. Like I kind of just gonna let that one complicated. The only win we had in Kansas was Dawn Coover, who was uncontested. Sidney Holscher is winning last I checked, and let me see who has won. Sidney Holscher is still too close to call, but there is now a 6 percentage points between her and Corzine, which has done the. Remember when I was talking about the asymptotes, the things that like would not quite come together? Higher, are you there?
I'm still here.
That's what just happened in Kansas, right? We just saw that happen for Holscher. So it got really close, like 47-43, but now it's 46-41, and it started to diverge, which is good. Hopefully it keeps diverging, and that's like not just like one weird asymptomatic drop. Atypical drop, and the rest of them continue the path. That's a pretty large swing. Kansas Governor Masterson won, as we talked about. Bouchard lost one. That's not that shocking. Who has won in any sort of major? What districts are we looking at? Lawrence. Ooh, the Lawrence Brink race got close. I don't like that.
Which one is that?
Lawrence Brink and Massam are all about 30% now. Now again, this could be one of those 18 codes. Try this to be one of those sort of the closed and then diverged now. McKinney only is 3.4% in, but he is killing Sri Tanadar, 64.4% to 35.6%, which is great to see. Sri is one of my least favorite Democrats in the House, and that's because he's a crazy person. Do you want to hear the list of scandals that Sri Tanadar has?
I'm interested in hearing.
Voting to thank ICE during the occupation of LA, violating the Stock Act at least twice, promising to dump stocks, but then didn't after the second time he got caught, violating the Stock Act, spending over $800,000 of taxpayer dollars for self-promotion during the lead up to the 2024 primary. Sorry, $800,000 on TV and radio ads alone, an unknown amount on, an undisclosed amount on billboards and mailers. So it could be more. I think the estimates say about $938K, but hard to say for sure. He then lost $630,000 of his campaign funds this year on crypto investments. He settled a $20 million fraud lawsuit after a business he sold for $20 million, which was argued to be artificially inflated. This comes back around, by the way. Failing to report the spiking of a herbal supplement with a, let's just call it a male performance enhancement drug at his company. And most egregiously, and then also, APAC, right? The whole APAC thing. Not having adequate constituent services. Rashida Tlaib on X talked about how her office was handling things for Tandar's office because his office couldn't. I should note that he spends only about 30% of his house budget on staff when the median amount is somewhere above 70%. So he didn't have enough staff to do it, probably because he's doing other things with the money they shouldn't be doing. Oh, another scandal. He was at Marco Rubio campaign rallies before running as a Democrat. He was actually a DSA member at one point, but he left in 2023 over their principled stance against genocide. But finally, the worst scandal he has is actually not funny at all. It is leaving 170 dogs and monkeys abandoned for months after his animal testing lab shut down. Yeah.
Yeah. Before you said that, I was wondering if you could take a look at his campaign website just in case it had a little.
He's a sitting representative. It's not, besides his face, it's not that insane.
Wow.
No, please understand, this man looks really weird. He's 70 and he looks simultaneously 35 and 160. It's a very bizarre look. I'm not
Should I even search it up?
You gotta look at several different photos. It's fascinating.
Probably later.
It's not really a now problem, but he is crazy.
Well, according to the chat, Geo Coldwater said, by the way, the same Sri Thandar who voted for a resolution to thank ICE agents will later introduce the Abolish ICE Act. He stands for nothing. He combat wombats. Free Elmo on fire. Good.
Needs to roundhouse kick that dude out of office from Combat Wombat. Yeah. McKinney's doing it for us, though, so don't even worry. Also,
He was the.
No, sorry.
In the chat, they just said he was a DSA member, but he was never endorsed and never really had DSA-like positions. Pretty sure he never knew what he was signing up for anyway, because I saw this one interview of him after he left, and he called it Democratic Society of America.
Wait, he called it Justice Society? That's really funny.
Democratic Society of America.
Yeah, and he was a DSA member, but I don't think that meant anything. I think he was just a DSA member because it sounded cool, or he thought it would help him get elected, which is probably not true in the years that he was part of it. Or maybe he just joined so that they would endorse him, and then that didn't happen because they smell the snake. The funny thing about that, though, the really funny thing, is that this guy honestly was asking people, allegedly, asking people if he should run as a Democrat or a Republican before he ran for Congress. That's not great. Don't want to be that guy. But Combat Wombat said we should roundhouse kick him out of office. And the answer is Donovan McKinney's going to do it for us. So don't even worry. Now, obviously, a whole movement behind Donovan McKinney made it happen, of course. I'm not giving him credit for the soul, the feat there. But regardless, yeah, that is looks like it's going to go the way we want it to go, based on 3.4% of the results, which is not enough to make that kind of determination, if I'm being completely honest with myself. The Abdul Haley numbers are staying relatively stable. Now the question is, I don't think the drops have been that big. So
I think it's improving, actually.
It's 51.7 to 44.9, which isn't great.
Yeah, but the margin looks like approaching to 6, but now it's at 6.8. So. In terms of the other races, Bratton's still leading in Missouri. Hosher still leading 6.2% margin. We got an update, it looks like, in terms of. One moment, please.
Huh.
Mark Alford has won the Republican nomination for U.S. House in the Missouri 4th Congressional. That's not even close. Wow. So let me just load that one really quickly. Yeah, that's not close. Alford has won with 28,320 votes, 77% of the vote, compared to Heather Shelton's 6,586 votes, 70.9%. But yeah. I don't know if we covered District 11 in Michigan yet, but that one's been called as well.
What's happening over at what's happening in the Michigan House right now? Like the actual Michigan House, like not the federal House. When we look at the Michigan.
Are they having an election tonight?
Yeah, it's state primaries too.
Okay, I don't know why they're not showing that.
It doesn't show on. You have to go to the actual website. You have to go to the state of Michigan, and it's not going to give you like projections. It's just going to give you like the actual drops. You know.
Well, let's see. So apparently Hassan Piker is at the El Sayed primary night event.
Yeah, he is. I actually have some friends who are there or trying to get in. Damn. Yeah, some of my friends just found out Aisha lost and they're upset. I'm like, yeah, I know, I like her, but it's not shocking that one happened. So what is happening with
Okay. Where's the okay? Let's do counter results for the. All right. Which particular state house are we looking at? Do we want to look at? Oh, is it just 2? Okay. It looks like there's only 2 like state legislative stuff going on. State legislative. One for 8th district and one in 10th district. For the Democrats, Rachel Keyes is running unopposed. For Republicans, Daryl Schroeder is leading with 308 votes, 44.38% of vote. Compared to Larry Johnson's 20.03%, 139 votes, and Casey Hopkins's 106 votes, 15.27% of the vote. For the 110th district, both the Republican and Democrats are running unopposed. Brian Irizarry will be facing off against Gregory Markkinen in the general election in November. Oh, and we do have a state senate. Okay. Sorry, I've not been in the Secretary of State website much, but for the state senate, 38th district state senate, Democrat Kelly J. Van Ginhoven is running unopposed, but for Republicans, David Preston is leading with 600.
Which website are you on, by the way?
I'm at the. I'm gonna lead you to the URL. It's mvic.sos.state.mi.us. And then the full
Yeah,
page
because I'm
load.
actually having trouble finding like a good one for this kind of thing. Ooh, I
Yeah.
found a nice one built in for oh damn. There's one showing like precincts reporting and stuff. I found one. Let me look at. Sorry, it sounded like someone was walking in my empty house. That freaked me out. District 1, Justin Onwenu is leading by 41 votes over Abraham Ayash, who is the, I believe, the Working Families Party candidate. However, in District 2, Abbas is pulled away with 20. I forgot how small these are sometimes. 100 precincts have reported 20 votes in for Abbas, which means he has won. I'm sure that's a glitch, but they are calling it for him. So, yeah. Some of the other races that we were watching were District 10 with, I believe that's going to be Amanda Treppa, who is actually losing pretty horribly. And then we're looking at like, there was a district that I was really interested in seeing how it was going to go at the state house level. Let me find it. This one's going to bug me if I don't. And apologies if I mispronounce any of these names. Like, this is a lot of those. Were you ever one of those kids growing up? And I'm talking to the audience here. Were you ever a kid growing up who read a lot and didn't know how to pronounce words? That was me. And I never learned. I just kept reading. So, with names sometimes. But let me find one that I'm pretty confident how to say, which is Skaggs. And Skaggs is State Rep SD 30. Where is District 30 primary? I should be. Where is it?
Well, while he's looking for it, I can tell you that the 30th District State Senator for Republican, David Preston is leading 692 votes, 61.13% vote, against Bill Matthew LaFace is 440 votes, 30.87% vote. Also, if you have questions, please share them in the chat. We're collecting questions, so we'll be able to answer them on stream.
Oh, yeah. Phil Skaggs is losing to Abby Groff Blazak pretty badly, which is really funny because he is not really like everyone's favorite guy. And it looks like that lesson is being taught today, that he really is not everyone's favorite guy. That's something. And what are we looking at? And McFall is. I believe that this is going to be Mike McFall we're talking about. How is he doing in so these are like, I'm getting in the nitty gritty with some of the smaller races here, but Mike McFall is going to win while losing Macomb County to Minaj Chowdhury, but that's a fascinating result. However, there is not nearly enough precincts in fully reporting at this point to make that to make that read. People were joking that DSA might have put a bat signal out on Blue Sky over this.
Well, I will say that the next poll is close in an hour.
Yeah, the next poll is close in an hour, so I was hoping maybe we look for like the next big ballot drop, and then we call it based on that. Yeah, okay. Abdul is still up by about 6%, by more than 6% over Haley, which is a comfortable lead. I think if someone said 3 months ago Abdul wins 51-45, everyone would have said, hell yeah, that's a good result. So, it's a lesson on not being too celebratory, but also it's a lesson on things are going pretty well. And Will Lawrence is ahead, Dominic McKinney's ahead, So Michigan is Ambrose pulled ahead, which is interesting because he was behind for a bit. Blomquist was gaining, but probably isn't going to gain. So it looks like Cali Bar is probably going to pull out the win there. But if we're looking at a decent spread of successful results here, with Talib safely protecting her district, while at the same time McKinney, Lawrence, and Abdul pulling out wins in Michigan, and then hopefully a couple races go our way in Washington State. Even just getting multiple people on the ballot can be fun because the top two primary system. So the top two people, regardless of party, get in, which can lead to a party being locked out entirely. And the hope is, in some cases, that two progressives will lock out all of the Republicans, and then therefore we can have a progressive versus other race, and then see what happens there. Like in District 9 is super progressive. So Adam Smith is a pretty moderate Democrat, but there's a real chance that either Sawant, who is an independent candidate, who is a long story, and Chowdhury, either one of them could sneak in and face off against him in the general, and then that's a real race. He's basically, as an incumbent, guaranteed to make it through the top two round. But once he passes the primary, will he win? That he's MVP in the primary. Republicans are all going to coalesce around John Braun. So the question is, can Henrich get enough of the vote to just eke out above MGP? And we don't know. It's hard to say. And even if he doesn't this cycle, it's setting it up for doing it next cycle, which is part of the reason why we do our Rising Star program.
Well, someone in chat named Adam Baumel is pulling for Kevin Fagan, so.
I'm also pulling for Kevin Fagan. Hi, Adam. How you doing? Gotta get you on the show next time, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, we always love to have you on, man. But not tonight.
And yeah, Kyle Wombat, you were right. Sidney Holscher is probably going to be it's probably going to be her, but they still haven't called it yet. Although margin increased, it's doing the thing I said it would. She's now about 7 percentage points up, so it is looking like Holscher is going to stay above Corson and obviously above Skoog, who has got my favorite name in the primary. I like Skoog, Skoog. I'm not saying I like his policies, but I'm saying I like his name. Is there going to be a big? When is the next big drop expected? Let me check my high quality journalistic secret sources called Blue Sky, the app.
I know that the Michigan District 2 is close. Ben Ambrose is leading with 4,491 votes against Jeremy Hills' 4,286 votes. No, it just got updated. Ambrose now has 4,649 votes against Jeremy Hills' 4,512 votes. So 43.9% against 42.6%. That's only the 14% of votes counted, mind you. Ambrose is leading in the counties closest to Grand Rapids, to the exception of Berry County. Although that was a bit close, Hill is leading by only 6%. They're expecting a lot of votes to be dropping in basically all the counties in District 2, but primarily in Muskegon, Kent, and Berry counties. Those are the ones surrounding Grand Rapids, alongside Ottawa County as well. Although that one.
What do you think the conclusion is from that so far?
It's still gonna be close. I mean, 13% and having a margin of point. What was it? And it just disappeared. No, a margin of 1.3% and only 13% of votes counted. I mean, that's gonna be close in either contest. And my internet is feeling a little bit slow for some reason tonight. In either case, they'll be going against Sean Molinar, who ran unopposed in the Republican primary. Let's see how we are in terms of the counties. There's a tie in Midland County. both of them have 143 votes and only 12% of the votes in. So don't know what's going on in Midland County. Which one is that? That's not the easternmost, but it's almost the easternmost county in District 2. So yeah, Midland County, don't know what's going on there. In either case, Ambrose is only leading in 1, 2, 3, 4 counties so far, and the Midland tie. Ambrose is leading with 19.5, with margin 19.5 in Kent County, and in Mason County, Hill is leading with a margin of 20%. So those are the largest margins that I can see right now in District 2. That's the closest house race so far in Michigan, and possibly the closest. Well, nope, not the closest one overall. Missouri with Herrera is still at 1.1% margin, although that one has 66% of votes counted. So yeah, Jordan Herrera, 13,377 votes, 30.5% of vote, compared to Hartselle Green-Sturt's 12,917 votes, 29.4% of vote. Jackson County, Hartselle Gray-Dirt is leading in Jackson County. That's where he has most of his votes, and that is where the majority of the votes in that particular district is. So that's a pretty good sign. But looks to be, with the exception of Dade County, Webster County, those are the two counties west and northwest and northeast of Springfield, respectively. Yeah, with the exception of those two counties, Jordan Herrera is leading everywhere else, it looks like. Yeah, Dade County, you got Rogers. Who's Rogers? Ashley Rogers is leading with 58 votes compared to Jeanette Cassis's 39 votes in Dade County. Mind you, those are the top fourth and top third, respectively, in this particular race. So I don't know why they're leading in that county. Hunter, I do got a question for you. What do you think about what do you think about how close it is so far in Michigan 2 and Missouri 4?
In Missouri 4, how close it is? Well, oh wow. I wasn't watching Missouri 4. I thought that was over. That's not over. That's really close.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about it?
I'm taking a photo of this. I'm posting this on Blue Sky. Wait, and I'm just gonna title. It's back on. It's still going. This is hilarious. I am shocked by this. That is not what I expect. I thought this was over.
Well, we have some good news. We have some technical difficulties there with Snom.
Although I like Herrera. I like Herrera. I think Snack Mom is fully correct that Herrera is an underrated candidate, and also was hustling for his vote. I think in a lot, possibly more notably than even Hartselle was as a DSA candidate. It's hard to out hustle a DSA candidate, but I think Herrera was, and that's probably why Herrera had all those endorsements, despite not being super moderate. He got a bunch of really good endorsements, probably just by hitting people up until they actually decided to support him.
Well, what does Snom think about all this? We have a few technical difficulties, but now she's back. What's Snom think about all these developments? And you're showing muted on Nauren. You're muted.
Well, she's also just not talking. Yeah, no, you are muted. You need to hit the unmute button.
Muted in a few too many places.
Oh, and now you're
you unmuted too many places now. There's a median between the two.
Are you saying I'm too loud?
No, you're echoing. Looks like the technical difficulties are still there. which is we mind you, we're testing out this new system, and when we were practicing before
I'm
this.
concluding the system is not a success so far. I'm going to be honest. This has not been a great run through.
Listen,
Sorry,
we're
guys.
pressing
Sorry,
it.
Toolbox. I hate to say it, but like, the Zoom was going better than this has been going today, and it sucks because I was really excited about Abdul, and I've been like trying to like check the tech. Abdul is now at 51.1%. Haley Stevens at 45.3. That's still in the good zone. Let me look at the districts. Let me see how far ahead what does Wayne County look like?
Well, according to Lane County,
because that's Detroit.
why is it not loading quickly enough for some reason? Okay, there we go. All right, Haley Stevens is leading in Wayne, by a margin of let's say 1.9. Stevens has 8,708. It has 8,494.
Okay, so he's going to. I would be surprised if he won Detroit, given like the racial demographics of this race so far. But that is really close, given the early vote the early vote, which in the early votes have been pretty conservative, leading this year, with the actual electorate getting more progressive as time goes on. And yeah, being 300 votes behind in a 17,000 vote sample is not a lot. That is not much. And that means
this is only 6% votes counted.
Yeah, but that number's probably not going to get worse for him. It's probably going to get better for him. If he's only down by 2% with the early vote, and the early vote's the more conservative vote, which means more likely to prefer Haley, that's not going to get better. That's probably not going to get better for her. Probably. I have a wood desk and I'm knocking on it. That's what we like. That's what we like to hear. That's the rule. That's the goal now. And we're hoping that it continues to be the goal. Is it's going to stay that way? And so, was just people are like being like, I am cackling at looking at my feed right now. I was trying to get election news about some of the local races that are hard to like talk about them. There's a specific person I've been looking at who's been really good. Let me find their name. They're the one who flagged some of the local races that were super interesting. On Blue Sky, their name is it is Regina George Bush.bluesky.social, and they've had some pretty good updates on small local races. Have to give some credit. Like they just covered that HG05 went to Candace Calloway and HG11 went to Kimberly Fisher, which are progressives that I didn't even have on my voter guide because there's so many races happening. And Holscher is continuing to pull away, which almost certainly means that is going to be that the Democrat that had a little bit more courage is the one who won, which is probably what I'm expecting to see at some of the other races as it gets closer and then diverges for these races. So the question, of course, is will that maintain, or is that trend going to somehow flip in Michigan? And if that trend flips, why? Which is always the interesting question with electoral stuff. However, none of us are unbiased observers in most of these races, and some of us have very strong opinions. And a county just got a couple counties just flipped colors and went in. What is that? What did that drop do? Oh, okay, that didn't actually move anything. That's marginal. But
I will say,
yeah.
For Missouri District 3 for Republicans, Bob Onder has won with 64.5% of the vote against John Fraser's 35.6%. Dave, what's his name again? Bob Onder. Onder's going to go up against Bethany Mann in the general election in November. That's for Missouri House District 3.
Missouri at 2, 4, and 8 don't look like they're going to get resolved anytime soon. Michigan, there's a lot of races in Michigan. Michigan 1 seems insurmountable, but it's not. They haven't called it yet. District 2 is less than 0.2%. Whoa. Okay, never mind. That was a big drop. District 2, a bunch of just dropped, and Ambrose went from being
Oh.
neck and neck with Hill to being more than a
Oh.
percentage point above now. What just happened?
Well, Kent County just went firmly against Jimmy Hill. Iona County.
Which race and which state? Just so we're
That's
clear.
That's Michigan 2 in the House. That's with
Michigan.
Ambrose and Hill.
Yeah. Which county or which precinct? Just
I was
swung in?
looking at Kent County. That's the one to the east of Grand Rapids. That one just went firmly against Jimmy Hill.
Oh. That is the east of Grand Rapids. So let's do it. I'm curious if I can find it on the Stevens Abdul matrix and see what this says, because Abdul is leading. Okay, Abdul is leading.
Oh, there
yeah,
you
we
go.
can hear you. There you go.
Well, you're still
Zach Bob.
echoing.
Maybe you just put yourself further away from the mic. Nope. Yeah, it's echoing pretty bad. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe your volume is on too high. Like you're picking yourself up.
Nope.
No. Like, you're not robotic. It's definitely an echo. I want to shout out the 11 voters in Clinton whose votes have been counted. 8 of you like Abdul, 3 of you like Haley Stevens. You are
Where's
doing much
that?
better than Dickinson, which has 0 votes in. It is Clinton County, which
Clinton
I am
County.
looking at an alphabetical map. So
Which
it's not gonna be-
which district is that?
I'm trying to find it. There's a lot of counties.
Yeah.
Like
Elsa, yeah,
hate to say it.
lead is lowering. It's closer
it is
to
not
5 now.
up on my map, but yet it exists.
I do wonder where thoughts are going to be if Stephen manages to overtake El Sayed. Although I would imagine it wouldn't hold for long. But
Oh, Clinton, it's just north of Lansing. Yeah, I mean, I think, look, like it's going to get close and then it's going to diverge. And the question is, how close does it get and how much does it diverge by at the end? And
that's definitely all night thing done. Picking up.
yeah,
We're 40 minutes out until Washington starts to.
I think we're not going to go that long. I think we should do a recap of where we're at so far and probably call it so that everyone can, so that those on the East Coast can get a good night's sleep and the rest of us can just like go cry in a room about the results. I'm kidding. I'm feeling comfortable about where we're at right now, and it's looking like McKinney's going to run away with it, hopefully. And it's looking like Lawrence just gained. Lawrence is gaining now, which is good. We just saw the
Michigan
divergence happen. District 7, yeah, he's at 38.6% now, which is the highest he's been in like half an hour, which is good. And some of the other races are getting closer or diverging based off of what we're looking for. Like the most recent drop was friendly to most of the progressives across the state. And in Missouri,
we have something from Kansas, and it is a referendum. I didn't know there
what
was a referendum. So I'm just gonna read it to you verbatim from my super secret source. Quote: Kansas voters reject a proposal from abortion folks seeking to remake the state's top court. The measure would amend the state constitution to have the Supreme Court justices elected rather than initially appointed by a governor. Sports pitched the measure to voters as increasing democracy, but their goal has been to move court to the right, so it overturns the landmark 2019 decision declaring that the Kansas Constitution actually protects abortion rights. for sounding
Yeah,
retroactive.
we talked about
Proposed-
Kansas one. Yeah, Kansas amendment. Wait. Which amendment is this?
It doesn't say, but it just said Kansas voters rejected proposal from Fortune Polls seeking to remake the state's top court. So
Oh
I
yeah,
think
no.
just been called.
That's the Supreme Court elections. Yeah, we covered that. They rejected it pretty handily.
Don't know where they're showing it now though, but Snap Mom, any opinions so far, by any chance?
You see how close Missouri 4 got, or are you still not able to talk?
I'm scared.
There we go.
There you go.
Good?
Yep.
Fantastic. I was fixing to just go buy a Snickers bar to slap myself in the face with. I am really excited to see how close it got for Missouri 4. So I keep
It's not
hitting
done yet.
refresh on that one. I know, I keep hitting refresh on it.
They're what,
Actually-
1.9 percentage points away now, with 81.2% of the vote in.
It would help if I got back on Missouri instead of Michigan.
Yeah, that probably would help.
What I'm seeing is 76% of the results in, and it's at 30.4% for Herrera and 28.4% for Gray.
I
think
got
the margins
one-
just increased. Good.
Yeah, 30.4 to 28.1 now, I think. I think some of the other random people in the background picked up some votes. Relative to the percent rate of increase or decrease for Gray. But so the funny thing about District 4 is it seems unlikely but not impossible that it would flip blue in this race. Like, it is a red seat that's probably going to stay red. So this might not be. Yeah, let me look at Missouri 4, 4th district. Missouri's 4th district was, I mean, Barack Obama won less than 40% of the vote there. In 2024, Trump won 70-28. In 2024, Alford won 71-26. I mean, nothing's impossible, but like it's going to require a big swing, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna require a big swing for it to go the way that we'd want it to go there.
Mind you, this is with 83% of the votes counted. So, we just got some big news for the Democrat nomination for governor. They just called it for Cindy Hochscher.
Congratulations,
Also-
Cindy. That's a big win.
Also, John James has won the Republican nomination for governor in Michigan.
Apparently, he's kind of crazy, anti-Islamic. So I don't think that's going to go super well for him. He was calling CARE a terrorist group after they criticized him for being Islamophobic. He's like, I'm going to make it my mission to designate you guys a terrorist group. And it's like, when you're fighting wars like that on Fox News, that tends to not go well for you in a swing state. That's a bad idea. So, I mean, we'll see how that lands for him. But, like, I would not be optimistic if I'm a John James supporter watching the stream for some godforsaken reason.
I doubt they'll be watching our stream in the first place. But, Hochscher wins with 47.9% compared to Carson's 39.4%. And for the Republican one, it was James won with 50.1% against Perry Johnson's 36%.
Yeah. All right. I think we
Ooh.
recap.
Sorry, one more thing. This El Sayed thing is now down to less than 1%. So, like 0.2%.
Oh, wow. That got
margin.
way close. Holy shit.
It is very close.
What dropped? What happened? What changed?
Maybe Oakland or something?
Fucking
or-
Oakland.
Wayne
No,
County and Oakland.
Oh,
Yeah.
a bunch of votes dropped. Okay, but the actual margins didn't change. I think Wayne dropped. Yeah, you're right. The the first big Wayne drop was pretty great for Haley. I think that's like that one was kind of built into the expectations though, for what it's worth. However, not what you want to see, even if it's expected. I think some of the
Also,
polls at the end that were like, and look, we could be wrong, and some of the polls that had Haley down as much as she was down were probably oversampling some people who were not reliable voters. However,
I should let you know it just went up again. So March is
No,
down
I-
like 2.6.
oh, that's a what? That was a crazy drop. Hold on, maybe it was wrong.
No, I think
what-
it went
what-
down to like less than 1, and then it just went up.
It did. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that's the asymptote. Hopefully that's what I talked about. That's what I warned about happening. Was poll watching and nearly had a heart attack. Like, did anyone else nearly have a heart attack when they saw that result?
A little bit. Oh yeah, fun fact, John. As you mentioned, John James, he's crazy. He's also backed by Trump. So crazy does know crazy after all. How you spent like 30 million of your own money on this campaign? Oh boy, that's gonna be a bit of an interesting one in terms of campaign finance. In terms of the other races, I think I don't know if we mentioned Bratton. That's Becerra, 5th district for Republicans. That's been called already. I think I already mentioned that. Elsa is now up to 3 point. Its margin is now up to 3.1. So looks like things are starting to drop really fast for the Michigan Senate race. Because it was like less than 1% margin, and then it was 2 something. Now it's 3.1. So yeah, it looks like Hunter's theory that we're getting a little close, and now we're gonna go up again. It's starting to take holds. Although
However, the fear is if Wayne stays at this margin indefinitely, that is a problem. Oh, Wayne just dropped in more, and the margin got closer, but that is interesting and telling.
I think all of the Kansas races have been called. I think Darren mentioned that. Yes, I mentioned Bratton. Yeah, I think I already mentioned Bratton. Looks like the only races that have not been called in Missouri are House 2, House 4, House 6.
Oh, they're saying that's
House...
mail. Oh my God! Thank God, that's mail votes. Okay, never mind. I'm chill. All the mail votes for Detroit dropped basically at once, and that's what that was. The Detroit mail was plus 53 for Stevens, which explains everything that just happened there and why I have a headache. Splitting now. Okay.
And
that's probably the worst result that we're going to see for Abdul the entire night. I don't think there's going to be a worse margin in a big area of any drop going forward.
I don't know if this is gonna fuel your heart attack, but Ambrose's lead has just dropped below 1%. That's House District 2 for Michigan.
Oh no, Ambrose's thing has been that one's been the whole time. So
I'm looking at District 13 in Michigan.
Let's see.
Donovan McKinney is now behind.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, that's all mail-in votes. I wouldn't worry about that.
I gotcha.
Oh wait, hold on. He's only 7% behind after all the mail-in dropped at once.
7.6 behind, yeah.
That's not that bad. Okay, cool. I'm not. Wait, how the fuck did Will Lawrence go up? How is he at 41% now? What? How? What?
Let's
Who?
go!
How? What? Our rising star! Here comes the boy.
It only took us 2 hours 43 minutes.
How does he go up? No, he started out there when we started this. So how did he go up another He was going down, and he went down to like 35, and now he's up to like 41 again. And I just don't. Guys, I'm gonna die of heart disease at like 45.
Don't even put that out there. Why would you do that? Don't.
I mean, I don't want to live till I'm like 80. Dementia runs in my family, so I am, unless they cure dementia, and assuming I survive fascism, which is, fingers crossed. The odds of me being interesting and functional, having a good time at 80 are very low. So I will be making a dramatic motorboating accident at around 73 once I start feeling the brain slipping. It will be a mystery for the ages. Anyone who watched this VOD stream will know that I was not, in fact, murdered by Mossad.
The combat wombat said you gotta survive out of spite.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that's 73, okay? Like, I got 50. That means I got 50 years on this boy. And I'll take that.
Presently, I am just working on outliving Mitch McConnell. So
I'm just
look,
around.
we'll go from there.
I'm going to karaoke tonight. I'm going to be sitting at the karaoke bar like, Abdul, please. Like, I'm going to be watching the screen for the, like, I'm going to request the election. I'm going to request a Kornacki cam on at karaoke tonight. That's crazy. That's how wild this is. Okay. Thandar. Okay. How'd they not called it for Calibar yet? I mean, I'm rooting for Blomquist, but, like, that looks bad. Oh, wait, no, that's 26%. That should not be. Center yourself. Haven, breathe.
Do you need a Snickers?
No, I don't like Snickers.
Wow.
I mean, Three Musketeers is a lot better. Just saying.
Thank you. Agree.
Okay, my favorite is Reese's, but
fair point.
Reese's is the superior, but it's a lot more fun to smack somebody with something that's got the peanuts in it, like a Snickers. So,
well, we got Cory Bush fan in the chat right now. Bacon Rants has said Cory should have won the hashtag Cory Bush for Congress. And,
folks are playing the blame game in Haley Stevens' HQ, which is probably good. That's
who
good.
They blaming?
That's each other. They think it's over, which is interesting because, we just had our heart attacks.
I didn't.
Also, Abdul has crossed the 50% mark again. Abdul is gaining.
No, it was at 3.5. Now it's at 3.4. So, yeah,
but he went down to like 48 for a second there. Oh, nope. And he immediately went back down to 49.9.
Yeah.
So I'm reading that skeet before anyone besides our live stream audience saw that. It is funny to I think it's funny to live skeet this because there's no real commentary to have besides like, how are the numbers doing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently Wesley Bell is giving a speech right now.
Well, yeah, he won.
On my TV is so blurry right now. Go ahead.
We don't like Wesley Bell. It's being theorized that a lot of Republicans got the Democrat ballot to vote against Cory Bush. Cory Bush is well loved, very well loved.
Combat Wombat saying, coming up on the inside track and last for long. Oh, well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed indeed. Now El Sayed is now at 3.4 in terms of the margin, and Bacon Rants has said, I agree with Snap Mom, stop Leslie Bell, and keep Cory Bush in.
So the problem here with that is clearly Cory Bush has now lost to Wesley Bell twice, both in a year where APAC was very effective and in a year where APAC is literally the kiss of death. This level of margin for Cori Bush is not great. Like, this is bad. Like, this is she should run for a different seat next time bad.
Let's go Senate.
No, I think you have to go. I think you have to go for like State House or something.
No, Senate. I'm dreaming big, okay?
Okay, but also like you want her to win, right? Like you want her to win the race, and like a Democrat is probably not going to win Missouri Senate. Period.
Hunter, you're so mean to me. Let me have my dreams.
I'm not being mean. Wow. I'm just saying. Like clearly, she is not popular in her district, right? Enough compared to a guy who sucks shit.
You don't understand though. She is. If you are out there in the community, she's so well loved. This is what I don't understand about this. I don't
that's
get
the thing. You speak to you. We have very progressive friends, right? Most of us do. So like, I'm sitting there, like almost all my friends are like, okay, so who's the guy who wants to redacted the billionaire class? And then and like that's like the debate on who they should vote for. And when it comes to, however, like the average person in my county, I'm just glad they vote blue. And it's close. So, like our bubbles are going to be like the organizer, the activist community is going to be very pro Cori Bush, but that's not going to necessarily translate. Now, she did get 40,000 votes, which is really good in a primary.
Yes. I was going to say I'm updating. She's as I'm updating, I'm feeling a little bit better that it's not such a significant margin. I mean, it still is, but it's not as it. When I was looking earlier, I was like, "There's no way." And now looking at District 4 again with 85% in, Herrera still has that slight lead there.
I will say. Good.
I don't see anything else that's been called for Missouri.
How's Kent County doing? Oh, damn. That's crazy. 65.8% for Abdul.
I will say.
Grand Rapids. Okay, he's at 49.9.
Wow. In answer though, there's a Michigan contact that's reporting that Abdul is ahead, and the AP posted empty pictures of Havy's watch party while Abdul has a line around the block.
We covered that. Yeah, Abdul's. I have friends who were having trouble getting into the party and were upset about it. Actually, texting me. So clearly the energy's there. It's just, does that reflect in places the energy doesn't reach as directly?
I hope they're serving food. Like, we gotta like snack on something while we wait for the inevitable, or maybe not inevitable, Fit Theory to show up on the TV screen.
A snack? Snacks? What? I don't have any chocolate. Like I really do need a Snickers or a Reese's, but
look, I think we honestly it's been almost 3 hours. I think we're gonna have to call it soon, folks, just because like it's not going to change. Like we're not going to find out in the next 20 minutes that Abdul won or lost. And the race and the Washington stuff is going to be even more of it. Like I think we're just going to have to do we have what I think a good way, unless if you guys want to keep going, please do. But like I am fading. But
and you're West Coast.
Yeah, but you got to understand that my sleep schedule has been a disaster because of the election stuff and on top of the normal organizing work. I'm trying really hard to work on the voting guide and trying really hard to like, do the Rising Star program and do all the other things that we do to like help boost the progressive cause. And it is not a thing you get well compensated for. Fun fact. In fact, most of it is completely $0. Is worth exactly $0. And that's how much I make off of it. So suffice to say, I do be faded. But of all the wins and losses, so like not the stuff that we're still waiting on, what's the loss that hurts the most so far, but also what's the win that you're most happy about for each of us here, and also for the people, our loyal commenters in the audience?
Well, I'm disappointed with Wesley Bell and Corey Bush. That's just disappointing. But I am incredibly proud of Missouri for voting no on amendments 4 and 5. And I know that we worked really, really hard to get messaging out about how bad those were. So I'm also incredibly proud of like our 5051 St. Louis, doing our banner drops and blog posts and infographics and getting all of that out. We've got a really great team of people, great group of a great coalition. And those were overwhelming no's. So I am very, very pleased with that.
I mean, same as Snob. Like my main hope was that 4 would not pass, and I don't know how many. Me personally, I don't know how many counties there are in Missouri, but out of all the counties in Missouri, the only county that's voted yes so far has been Benton County by a lot. So if a ballot measure is that bad that Benton County is the only county voting yes on it, I don't know about you, but it looks like it's a bad ballot measure, I must say.
It's 114 counties.
What? How many?
114.
114 counties, and out of all of them, and excluding the ones that have not reported anything yet for some reason, all those under 13 have said no. So I don't know about you, but it's kind of bad. Kind of bad for the. Yes,
Good for us.
It is. Oh yes. Hunter.
Yep.
What about you?
And look, the biggest loss, I'm gonna say, I'm sad about Tommy. I got to know him over the past week or so, and it's been cool seeing him grow and seeing him put in the work, and it sucks to see him lose. Also, Faruqi in Michigan's pretty rough. I liked her. I was hoping it would have been so sweet to have the perfect night was Abdul crushing Haley Stevens, and then Haley Stevens' district being replaced by someone almost as progressive as Abdul is. Would have been so perfect, and it didn't quite happen. But for the wins so far, I'm pretty happy about Cindy Holscher ruining Kansas governor. It shows a lot. Kansas wasn't a great day in a lot of ways for a lot of people, but Holscher was great, as was Amendment 1. So happy to see that. And I know it's not a win yet. Well, also Tlaib winning, but obviously, like, we all thought that was going to happen. But of the ones that are not quite called yet, I am pleasantly surprised by how well Will is doing. I'm really happy to see that he is, it looks like, just continuing to gain. He's at almost 43% now, which is really good because the other two are trailing pretty heavily behind him at this point. And obviously it's still too early to call, but if he can maintain that momentum, that's really heartening for the ability for organizers to directly turn their power into putting pressure on the levers of power. And so I'm really excited about that one. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it, at least. I'm Hunter, and I'm going to go lose my mind off camera now instead of on camera. So thank you for joining us. And I don't know if Hire and Snack Moms are going to stay on longer. You totally can. You do not have to end what I end. But I definitely need to go take a breather and maybe work out for a bit. So
well, I know it's about 11 o'clock Eastern. So thank you, Hunter.
Cheers, Hunter.
Yeah, I am disappointed for Tommy, having gotten to know him and his campaign personally, and being out there with him. But I don't think that's the last that we hear from him. So I am looking forward to learning from this campaign cycle and seeing what happens next.
Yeah, I have not heard much about Tommy. I know he did an AMA for us at RFS 51, which we always appreciate. And he has some good responses there. But yeah, it's disappointing, one, to hear that he lost, and two, that he lost by that amount. It's always disheartening to hear. In terms of the chat, because they also have a few thoughts on on the losses. Combat Wombat said, quote, sad up for Cory Bush, happy with Kansas coming through the amendments, and Joko Orders said, quote, same thing here, I guess Cory Bush's loss was disappointing, but Kansas and Minnesota going against Republican power measures was pretty cool.
Yes.
I suppose any final thoughts before we cut loose with the stream?
Final thought is just I'm probably going to go lie down, but still be checking on Michigan in particular. And I would like everybody to please take a moment to get yourself a snack, get yourself some water, some hydration. Don't doom scroll all night. Get some rest. We still have a very long road ahead of us, as our friends in Minnesota have been reminding us. This is a relay race, not a sprint, not even a marathon. It is a relay race, which means that we need to take time to take care of ourselves. So with that, we will call it a night, and we will look forward to seeing some more positive results.
Likewise, and good night, everybody, from the East Coast and the West Coast, and all the stuff in between.
Things are starting to get heavy. I can't help but think I haven't felt this way since I asked you to go steady. Wondering, would you be my little quarantine, or is this the way it ends? 'Cause I